Oh. Hi, Anton, how are you? I forgot I didn't have to type the reply.
Oh, yeah. It's a bit, GorillaBiker live stream episode 1. Gotcha. We're up and ready to go. Fabulous.
Just leave a few people join and we should kick off.
Exactly. No point. Right. Hang on now. Yeah. Up on the phone here. We are sorted.
Excelente. So we do have a guest later for whoever's tuned in now. Where do I see who? Oh, three watchers. Cool.
Yeah.
We do have one guest lined up already for a while. Came to say good night, Moto Dragon.
Good night, Moto Dragon. Oh,
Kaz. Yeah, see, I like how he typed Fz6, not first, because he wasn't first, so it's a good thing he wasn't wrong. Landshark, how are you doing?
Landshark, how are you?
Motorcycle Mick, how are you getting on?
Motorcycle Mick as well, yeah. Jesus, we got a few slow rides. See, how are you doing? We've got a few heads in now.
We'll get a few of the Shade Tree Discord boys in. Jane, how are you?
Jane, how are you? Yeah. Yeah. Now we're sucking.
We have 15. I think that means it's meet fuzzy. Kaz, I don't even know what that means, to be honest, but you're kind of scaring me. He's hammered.
Kaz, have you had a few fucking shandies there, mate? Sitting in Tullamore, sculling cans. There's nothing else to do in Tullamore anyway.
Doing well, nice to make. Thankfully, there are a few live streams. Good to hear, Landshark. Good to hear. Glad you're staying well.
The Motorcycle Mick, I'm properly backed.
Good man. Good man. D-cycle. Oh. I tell you what, Paddy. I think that's enough to kick off. Is it?
All right, I think so. We'll crack on, sure.
Very good, very good. Right, so I suppose what we'll be going through tonight is some basic chats about motorbikes, as always, because I mean it's literally my only kind of interest in life, sadly.
Yeah.
Other than nice hats. Well, that's an arguable point as well. Maybe some people don't think they're nice, but anyway, we'll try not ramble on a live stream. I can't edit that out. And we're also going to have a chat about me and Paddy's thoughts on hitting 1,000 subscribers. And then we're going to get on a few.
We're big YouTubers now.
Massive.
Yeah, we get to impart our wisdom.
Absolutely. And then we're going to bring on a few guests. We have one lined up in the what you call that, a green room, isn't it? Green room.
That makes it sound awful fancy.
It's very fancy. So we have one guest lined up already. So if anyone else wants to join, let me know and we'll try to get you on. Hey, Dad. I always laugh. You know, Dad of Dad and Mad. Every time I say hello to him, like, hey, Dad. It's like, oh, this is weird.
You're not my real dad.
How are you, Donna Main? Too Many Toys. How are you? Okay, let's kick off. So the first episode of YouTube, let the power go to your head. Always Motorcycle Make. You gotta. I've already quit my job. You know, I've already quit my job. So the first thing I want to talk about is kind of like, imagine you had motorbike connects, and how would you kind of do that? Oh, hey, Mama Soph, how are you? Also weird. Names, but basically, you know, like with Harley, and I know Blockhead did a good few videos on, well, at least two anyway. The kind of stripped down, less options heavy version of the electric Glide, right? I thought that was good. Thought it was cool to see, but I don't think it went far enough. So what I would like to see is nearly like a frame and a choice of your engine, and you get that bike. You know, basically you still wanted EU Cat 4, Cat 5 compliant for us. I don't know what we have to do over in the likes of the States and stuff. So, you know, slap it into the comments there if you want. Oh, Landshark, yeah, don't forget to thumbs up the stream. Very importante. Basically for us, yeah, it was cheeky. I was going to just gloss over it, but basically with that, what would you like to see, I suppose? Because for me, as long as it was in EU Cat 4, Cat 5 compliant, so I could actually register it, I'd literally just like a frame and an engine and go from there.
I'd go frame and everything else after that optional. Engine, the works. Yeah. So, and like you can just basically customize it any which way you like.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And like
So,
the only thing is the registration process. That's the only thing you kind of have to watch out for. But for me, I think there's the reason I say this, and the reason I think that, in fairness, I think the reason Harley went after it, and it's one thing that I really think is class, really, that they did it, is, you know, the fact they did that meant that, okay, there's a slightly more affordable bike. Now, slightly more affordable in this case, you know, bike there that someone could go after. It is Harley. But as well, I personally don't want all the extras anyway. But I think the fact of the matter is, in kind of modern bikes, everything is becoming so option heavy anyway. And then you go in as a standard bike is already option heavy, which means it's quite expensive. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know what to kind of to do with that. If you can have the option in something that says, say, cost, even if you went in and bought, like, it was a standard 10 grand bike with everything on it, and you could get it for 5 grand, I'd go for the 5 grand option. Even if it ended up costing me 8 grand once I got it the way I wanted, I think that'd be a better option.
Like, that's true, because, like, I suppose the advantage of sort of a bare bones thing with a lot of options is that you have it exactly the way you want it. It's not designed for, I suppose, the average biker by a focus group or some researcher somewhere. Like, you know, it's exactly how you like it. Hirsch, at least it'll be what you want. Exactly. It's exactly that. Like, you know,
exactly that. And I think a big thing, and the reason it kind of appeals to me especially, and, you know, Paddy will probably feel the same, is we're quite tall individuals. And there is literally no bike on the planet that is fitted for us. And what I found out recently is I have a surprise coming up in the channel. It should have already been revealed, but I can't reveal it yet, so I won't reveal it here. But obviously, I think everyone knows it's a bike. It's not my bike. It's just going to be on the channel, kind of my bike. But anyway, the first thing I realized is I knew I'd have to get.
I know what it is, but I'll say nothing.
I think yourself, and I think Grant knows what it is as well, and Moto Dragon. But the thing that's funny about it is, you know, I priced rebuilding it, and I have all the parts here in a box in the house, which is killing me because I can't go to the shed. But I also had to look up rear sets, because when I sit on it, I'm actually like, I can ride it, but I mean, I think you described it as a monkey fucking a football before, Paddy. It's very similar to that. So I priced up the rear sets, and like the cheapest ones I can find are €400.
Oh Christ!
So
400.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ, that's like $700. Fuck me.
And imagine then, like, that was a new bike. And I knew getting that bike that I was going to have to spend minimum €400 just off the bat just to get the rear sets more comfortable.
Yeah.
What's the point? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know what you mean, because, like, I bought a V-Strom, which is a tall enough bike. And the only modifications I've done are to make it more comfortable for my scrawny 6'4" arse. You know, that's all I've done. I've put on a higher seat, I've raised the bars, and I've lowered the foot pegs just so I fit in it properly. It's the first thing I've done, and, like, you know, that cost me about $1,000 worth of modifications there alone.
And that's it, you know.
It's insane. And motorcycling's great if you're between about 5'8" and 6 foot. If you're shorter than that, you're fecked, and if you're taller than that, you're fecked.
But at least the short people have smaller bikes, and actually, that's something we can talk about. Is what would you have, right? So, for instance, at the moment, look, we all know I'm going to get even more bikes because I actually have a mental problem and it's incurable. So it's a problem. It's a problem. But for me, I absolutely love the look of the what's it called? What are they called? God, it was in my head a second ago. I talked about it in the channel. I have just recovered from a migraine. Once I'm going to Google it because I can't remember.
What would Grant do says that he added brake lines with purple to make me boy racer cool. Do you know, Grant, that those purple brake lines, as well as making you look cool, they also add about 40 horsepower to the bike?
Easily 40 horsepower.
Yeah, easily 40.
I remembered. I didn't even need to Google it. Mutt motorcycles, the Mutt motorcycle Sabbath, that 250. Yes. I would love one of them. Just because, you know, even for popping into work down to the shop, I think that'd be the ideal.
Yeah. I rode a Harley. Pardon?
Would you get a small bike yourself?
Again, I have had small bikes before. My first two bikes were small bikes. I had a Kawasaki VN250 to begin with, which was actually quite big for a 250 cruiser. It was more kind of 650 size, if you know what I mean. I was actually pretty comfortable in that. And then I got an R3, which was surprisingly accommodating for a man of my lankiness. However, after riding that for about 45 minutes, I certainly felt it, which was a big factor in me going the full daggy touring bike. I'm heading for 40. It's either cruiser or touring bike at this stage of the game, man. So those are your options.
Yeah. See, I'm the app, so I started off on the more okay, these don't ruin my hip, but now that I've gotten my hip to a point that it's kind of, this is recovered. It's been about 5-6 years since I damaged that badly, but I can sit on sports bikes again now. So now I really want one. So we'll see. Hey, J-Mac, what's up?
J-Mac, how are you? Donna, man, how are you?
I want to see you on a gram. Jim, I want to see me on a gram, to be quite honest.
I might see if a friend of mine here in Townsville has a Honda CT 110, so I might film myself having a go at that for the laugh as well, just so everyone can laugh at my expense, I'd look like a fucking giraffe,
Funny thing is, I have a buddy in Dublin who has a gram, so this is a possibility. I can do it. 6'3" and have a photo of me in the gram. Dad, I think you need to share that photo.
I think you do.
McLovin,
right now.
Welcome, McLovin. Spice Melange. It's spelled Spice Melange. Owen, for God's sake, man, get it right, South Park reference if no one else gets that. Domain. Oh, Domain, how are you? The Pongster, get a Mark 1 Aprilia Mille. Oh, no. Now you're talking dirty words. It's late at night, so it's a suitable time to talk dirty words.
It's 9:15 in the morning here on Easter Sunday.
Yeah, but you live in the wrong place. It's your fault.
I know, it's all upside down here. I had to turn the screen upside down here just so I'm facing the same way as you.
Actually glued to the ceiling right now. But
I am,
that's the floor above you. But
standing on my head.
We'll get on to the whole 1,000 subscriber thing and then start getting other people on. So that certain people aren't waiting too long. I see him there in the back. He's actually pulling his hair out, the poor man. I see him in the little screen. It's bright cam. It's all right. Oh, Jesus. He's smashing things. The best part is he can't defend himself.
Yeah. What would Grant do? Don't talk about Miles. Grant, don't get me started, Matt.
Landshark, ouch. David Murphy, come on, lads. High performance adventure bikes out there, best of all. That's true. Yeah, the 1290 Super Adventure is my kind of pie in the sky, for them.
I have a funny feeling. I'd say I do. It comes out my mouth, Grant. It's how I've got 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, funnily enough. How's that for a segue? But high performance adventure bikes, I do fancy the new V-Strom 1050 XT. However, I'm gonna end up on a GS. I know I am.
Do you think there's so many other options out there, though, Paddy?
I know, and I'll probably feel like an awful fucking bollocks, but
the new Tiger does amazing, Grant.
Yes. J-Mac, what's everyone sipping on? Instant coffee.
Water, because I have just recovered from being asleep with a headache for 6 hours.
And me, because I got 4 hours sleep last night because I was working. I didn't get home till near midnight from work. And it's 9 o'clock in the morning here.
Look at him, he looks like a BMW.
He looks like a BMW owner. Is it the scar in my head where is it?
No, I take that as a compliment because BMW owners are generally wealthy retired architects or dentists.
But I'm a nurse. I don't make enough money for a BMW. That's the thing.
Apparently, you look like you do, Paddy.
Oh, thanks, Grant. I take it as a compliment.
So yeah, how does it feel? Number one, congratulations on not only getting 2,000 subscribers, but beating me there and ensuring I have to spend 10 minutes as a gorilla going through Cork City when all this is all over.
I know, yeah, but you're like 40 ahead of me now, so you've won, really.
You won when it was important.
I know.
There is a question there before we keep going. 1250 or 850 GS, Paddy? That's actually a good question.
I'd probably go 1250, like, you know.
Full wanker, nice.
Yeah, exactly. Like, go hard or go home.
David Murphy, V-Strom 1050 high performance. Yeah, to be fair, I wasn't going to say it, but like the 1050.
I know, yeah. It's not high performance. Like, it's not the same. Like, those 1290s are fucking lunatic machines.
They're insane. They're insane. I really enjoyed actually and I think we've mentioned them now. Well, we've only done 2 live streams, but the one, the Fort 9 video on the 1290 Super Adventure said a lot. That he was like, you couldn't ride this without the assists. You know, Fort 9 saying that says a lot because
that dude knows what he's doing off road. Like, you know, there's no denying that.
100%. Yeah. Dad and Mad, the pictures of. I'll have a look at oil there. Can't wait.
Hang on. I'm going to. 1290. Want to lose your license, lol? Yeah, it would be like that, especially in Australia.
They're absolutely lunatic.
Pretty hard on speeding around here. Hang on a minute now. Dad and Mad tagged you in a post. Oh,
absolutely magnificent.
Good job, big fella.
That is brilliant. Now I want to sit on one even more because I just can imagine, like, you know, Dad is quite a trim man. I am not, so I just imagine the Grand being like.
I would be of similar kind of stature to Dad. You know, I'm long.
And you've managed to control your eating habits for many years. Fair play. I have not.
No, I haven't either. I don't know how the fuck I'm getting away with it, to be honest with you. I'm probably going to die of a heart attack when I'm 42, like, but...
John O'Main, I'm looking at a 1200 Tiger Multistrada 1260. Wait for the V4 Multistrada, please, for the love of God, buy the V4 Multistrada.
Is there anything to be said for a lovely mass father? You say a lovely mass father.
Did anyone see the guy? And if anyone is a follower of this particular fella, I apologize in advance, but I'm going to rip the living piss out of him. He's some pastor in America who pulls in like 300 million a year, and he did a live stream on Facebook like today, well, technically yesterday for me. And he was like, so what we're going to do now is we're going to blow away the C word, except he said it, but banned on this live stream. We're going to blow away the C word. And he literally went like, okay, it's gone. I have cured it. And this guy was fully 100% serious. And then immediately after that, he was like, if you want to donate, there's a link now on the Facebook Live. Give me money. It's like, dude, you make 300 million a year.
Yeah, he probably drove home in a fucking Bentley, didn't he?
Exactly, yeah. What's up, Bandit Man? Anyway, we better drive on and give us your thoughts on hitting 1,000 subscribers so we can get people on here.
Subscribers.
How does it feel?
It's kind of surreal, really, because like I only started my channel for the crack. You know, I only started it for a laugh. I've just made. Donna, man, I'm just going to interject there. The term V4 Multistrada is not to be said on this channel because it's pornography.
Yeah.
Both of us can monetize now, and we don't want YouTube having any reason to not do it.
Or see me go cross-eyed on a live stream. So.
Oh, Christ almighty. Like, I'm sitting outside, like, the neighbours might look over the fence and see me sitting here with a chub. Like, you know, it's not good.
It's out in 2021, I think, Donna Main, though, if you're looking for it. Just Google V4 Multistrada. It's can you imagine that in that bike?
Yeah, you might want to turn your internet filter off first, though.
Yeah, it's pure.
It's filth. It's filth. Anyway, like, I only started my channel kind of thinking I'd get about 15 subscribers. Like, honestly, I honestly can't believe there's 1,000 people around the world who honestly give anything even resembling a shite what I think about Anton. You know, it's kind of mad. And you know, it's really sorry. Like, it took me about 2 years and 3 months to get there. So, you know, it didn't happen overnight, to say the least. Like, didn't happen as fast as you bollocks. But you know, and you know, tis kind of crazy, like, you know, that you know, and like I was saying to Gorilla before this started, I looked on my Facebook memories just before I started on this morning, and I put up a post last year saying that I'd gotten 400. So it's amazing, like, you know, that I seem like the channel's grown kind of exponentially now, and I still can't quite believe it, like, you know. And again, it's like I look at my analytics and I see I have subscribers from places like Japan and Malaysia and Poland and stuff, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing watching some mouthy Irish fucker riding around North Queensland? Like, you know.
So true, yeah.
Makes sense to me.
Well, sure, yeah, no, I'm 100% the same, but I still don't get it. And even, you know, the fact you say the you know, like, I've grown quickly, and, you know, Grant has abused me there as well. It's gas, like, it still doesn't make sense. And the funniest thing is, you know, even like the guest we'll have on now in a second, I amn't exactly a mad social creature, but I have made more friends in the last year through this than I have anywhere else. And I think a lot of the thing is, turns out I'm not social just because people are boring and want to talk about the weather and stuff like that. Turns out when people talk about bikes, no problem.
Yeah, same. Yeah. And it's the same with me. Like, you know, I'm not a big fan of fucking going out and carousing and going to pubs and talking to people and shit like that. Like, I have to talk to people for a living. Like, you know, and the last thing I want to do when I'm at home is have to talk shite to people, like, you know. And but like, at least this sort of stuff, like, you know, it's something I'm interested in. Like, I like riding motorbikes, and I like going off riding places, and, you know, the fact that I get to show people where I'm going and what I'm doing, and that people actually care and seem to enjoy the videos, like, that's just a bonus, really, like, you know. But yeah, it's still pretty mad, like. And at the same time, like, I sort of, like, I'm immensely proud of the achievement, but I sort of don't give a crap either, if you know what I mean. Because, like, I'd still do it regardless. If I only had 100 subs, I'd still do it. Like, you know, if I only had 10 subs, I'd still do it.
No,
like,
that makes perfect sense. Yeah, I'm the same.
Me dad watches the videos, like, you know, and I think me dad, like, I think it's like, and again, as somebody who has emigrated from Ireland, like, you know, it's a great way to let the lads at home know what I'm up to. It's a great way to let my dad, like, know that I'm not flying around on the bike like a fucking lunatic. Like, you know, like
that makes sense. Actually, funny enough, my dad watches mine, and every time he's on the phone to me recently, it's just, Mike, would you slow down on that? But would you just slow down? He's really upset. Ever since I got the phone covered and covered my speedo, he just assumes I'm doing 200 kilometers an hour everywhere. Like, I could be doing 80 and 100, and he'll say, Mike, come on, would you just, no, Jesus, just think about it now, all right? Just think, come on, you're a young lad. Just slow down.
I know, my like, my dad's the same. He's just like, oh, Stephen, go easy on that bike. And I'm like, Dad, I'm 38. For fuck's sake.
I'm not exactly popping wheelies everywhere anymore, you know?
I know, believe it or not, I'm at the stage of my life where I do have a sense of my own mortality, like.
Just roll through some comments and we'll get on. Bry. So Dad Matt hit 400 subs yesterday. Congratulations, Dad. That's fair play. Donna Main, I'll stick to the L-Twin multi. Fair enough. I just have a weird obsession with V4s. That's on me. J-Mac, yeah, absolutely. Just keep getting the videos out there. That's what worked for me. There was no special sauce or anything like that. That's what I did. It was just kept on putting out two videos a week. Yeah, just grinding it out. Yeah. Pongstorm Rock 186 subscribers. Hey, you'll be at 100 soon, Pong. Just keep doing the videos, man.
Exactly. Put them out, man.
Where are we gone? I actually skipped through loads of accident there.
Oh, yeah.
Motorcycle make with 10 months 1K. 10 months for 1K. Fair play. Well done. I knew you hit 1,000, but that's quick. Bandit Man, I owned a 2012 Multistrada 1200. You know, I think it'd be easier to ask Bandit Man what bikes he hasn't owned. That man has had some serious bikes and currently owns two absolutely beautiful bikes, and his wife has another class bike. So Yeah, shout out to Bandit Man as well. If you've never heard of Bandit Man UK, go look him up on the YouTube. Same as Dad and Mad and the Motorcycle Mick. Go look them all up. And what will Grant do, etc., 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 etc. Literally, everyone in the live stream comments, go look at most of them are content creators. So go have a look at them.
Yeah. So yeah, if you haven't checked anyone out in the comments, just if you hover over their name and click on it, you'll see a link that says go to channel. So just hit the old subscribe button, and anyone you see there and check out their videos. You won't be disappointed.
Yep, unless it's me or Paddy's videos, in which case you'd be very disappointed.
Mine suck. I do nothing but upset people in my comment section these days. Anyway,
you do make videos sometimes specifically trying to upset them. So.
Oh yeah, that's kind of true.
D-Cycle took me 18 months and a lot of work, and now you have, I don't know, how many do you have, like 2.5 now or more? I know Tony has like 5K. J-Mac, good time making the videos. That's the main thing, J-Mac, to be honest. Hatshui, I hate talking to people. People suck. Well, Hatshui, you're going to have to be on a podcast at me some stage soon. I want yourself and Paddy and Webb on an Australian podcast for me.
Yeah.
So that'll have to happen, Hatshui. So you're going to have to talk to me. I'm sorry. I know it'll be tough.
They have disabled that link. I just checked it there on my phone. I have absolutely no idea why they would do that, and it makes not a lick of sense.
That makes no sense at all. Yeah. Okay. Good to know. Thanks, Dad.
Get a pen and paper and start writing names down, lads. we'll give you a minute.
I actually if you have. Go on, sorry, I keep talking over you.
According to Kazawaki, tapping icon only gives me the option to block people. Block Kazawaki. Right, sorted.
Done. Moto G Spot did a really good video there, like, I don't know, 3 days ago, on collecting the post during isolation. So go have a look at that. I was absolutely pissed about that. It was really, really funny.
Yeah. Check that. I've hardly watched any videos the last couple of days, unfortunately, because I have this thing called a job.
Jobs suck.
Yeah.
What would Grant
Donovan, what do you think of BMW's new R18 Cruiser? No, we went over that the last live stream we did on my channel,
and I have a video coming out on Tuesday specifically for the R18.
So keep an eye on the GorillaBikers channel for that. We have opinions.
Strong ones.
Strong, angry opinions.
If you want like a snippet of what I will probably be focusing in on Tuesday, have a look at Paddy's last live stream. We do talk about it there. So I think it's time for the first guest.
Bring him on.
Are you ready? Oh, he made a face. That means he's ready. And in 3, 2, 1.
Boom.
Guys.
Hello, Bri.
How are you, sir?
We're flying it.
So I think, Bri, the first thing to do is introduce yourself and tell us about your channel, please and thank you.
So I'm Bri the Biker on YouTube and Instagram. I'm relatively new to YouTube. Instagram, I've been on it a while. Trying to put up weekly content. It's been a little rough with things that are going on here in the States. But just having some fun with it. As Gorilla said, I'm trying to get over the whole anxiety of it. It's kind of weird. I came from a professional photography background. I'm kind of used to it's a still image and it's out there. Yeah. But I thought it was funny what you said. It's really weird that when you have a common ground like motorcycles to talk to people, I can talk to people about anything about motorcycles, but everything else I'm kind of like, yeah.
Yeah.
Paddy was saying you got to turn it on, so it's a little difficult.
It's actually
about so far.
It's actually funny. I've been going out with my girlfriend for like 9 years. 9 years. I'm gonna say 9. But at weddings and stuff.
9, man. You've just said it publicly.
But yeah, it's 9 now. Yeah, if you watch, like, unlikely, so I'm probably safe. But I know we were at a wedding before. Like one of her family members, like, oh, Michael's very, very quiet, isn't he? And she was like, go over and say anything about a car or a bike, and they came back to her about an hour later, going, what happened? Yeah, you mentioned cars or bikes, especially bikes. You won't shut me up, so it's funny.
I can just imagine that you're some poor fella at a wedding, and then you like walk over to some like 6'8" guy or whatever, and he's just starts. You mention cars, and he yells at you for an hour about fucking cars. Like I can
grab them and be like, "Talk to me. You're mine now."
You can just imagine that, like.
That's how it goes. That's how it goes.
Funny when you talk to somebody because you're into bikes. I'm not mechanically into bikes like you guys are.
I'm not either.
I'll go up and talk to somebody, and then they look at me like they have three heads because they own a bike, but maybe they only go to the bar that day. They're not really into it. I think it's always funny.
Yeah, it's I often slag people. Like I often like slag even a lot of my subscribers off. That's kind of a theme in my channel where I just kind of take the piss out of the people who watch my videos, especially if you leave silly comments on my channel. Fuck's sake. I often joke that I have a rare thing. I have an adventure bike that has actually been off road.
What?
I know.
I had a KLR that had my crash bars got scraped up from dumping it. I went to a road crossing and I dropped it. And my buddy, I was laughing, had a 1200 Adventure at the time, BMW. Yeah. And he's like, your crash bars are scratched up. I'm like, you get that, right? You have to dump it.
You have to crash it.
You get that kind of Starbucks.
Crash bars. Crash.
So I remember pulling in once. I was just riding through town, and I went just pulled in just to get a coffee, and there was a fella on a Triumph Tiger 800, and my bike was filthy because I'd actually recorded a video a couple of days previously, and the bike got covered in shite. It was actually for those who know on my channel, it was like I'd actually been riding through streams and everything, and he just kind of looked at me and goes, "Oh, your bike is filthy," and I was just there, yeah. It was like he couldn't comprehend, and there he was sitting there next to his adventure bike, and you could eat your fucking dinner off of it, and it's just like, what the fuck, like?
Oh, there's a question for you there, Paddy. Kieran Dunleavy, where's Paddy from?
All right, this is a long story. Right,
on you go.
Because even I have an accent that even confuses Irish people. I spent most of my life in Ennis, County Clare. But the Irish people in the chat will know that I do not have a Clare accent. That's because I was born and I lived in Naas, County Kildare until the age of 8. And I never really lost the accent. So I'm sort of a half Kildare man, half Clare man, basically. And I have a parent from each one. So, there you go. I'm a mongrel, basically. And I live in Townsville, Queensland, Australia now.
To be fair, the Australian accent hasn't touched you, though.
Irish people don't lose their accents, really.
I'm trying to make sure that I don't get any Cork inflections when I live down here, so. It's tough. They have a strong, pervasive influence, the Corkonian.
Yeah, they do. The accent is distinctive.
Strong, we shall say.
Strong.
So, Bri, do you want us to go through not you want us. What we're going to do is you're going to go through your history of bikes, and me and Paddy are going to comment on it.
Oh,
hang on, I'm just putting my judgy face on.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to getting this.
I see Paddy's face already. I'm a recovering scooter rider, no judgment.
So am I. You're all right. My first two-wheel experience was a 50cc two-stroke, so.
2 strokes are class, no matter what they're in.
400 scooter, Suzuki Bergman 400 scooter. I had that for about 5 months. I moved up to a 650 Bergman scooter, which was a disappointment. I thought with the displacement, it would be a lot better. For some reason, I was really nervous about buying a real bike, if you will. So I had the scooters. After that, I had a KLR 650 for a few years.
Oh, yeah, they're great bikes.
I wish I still had it.
Yeah.
I met my wife, took her out for a spin. She was hooked. And at that point, I was like, you know what? If I'm going to keep her around, I should probably get a bigger bike. So I bought a used Suzuki Intruder 1500. It was a 2003, and I bought that in 14. So it was pretty old. It was a great deal.
Yeah.
I had a Versus 650 at the same time.
Another good bike.
And then the latest bike is I bought a 2014 Ultra Limited Harley.
Oh wow!
And it's really funny. I sort of joined a club I never wanted to be a member of, although I have the hat on. But it's
Yeah.
it's that's been really life changing for us. I ride with my wife 98% of the time.
Wow,
So it's been a fantastic bike to tour with.
oh, fantastic!
Yeah, that's what they're built for. Like, so it's
Mods to it to sort of make it. I'm not quite as tall as you guys. I'm like 6'2" in boots, but I'm just past that point where it's uncomfortable for a standard bike.
Yeah.
We threw bars on it, suspension. It's made a big difference.
Yeah.
you have a couple of videos up on that bike as well. So if anyone wants to go check that out, do.
Well,
And
I'm sure Gorilla will have the link in the description below once this is all done and dusted.
I will update it, of course, absolutely, with anyone else who comes on as well. Actually, speaking of which, does anyone else want to come on live? Let me know, and I'll drop a link in thingy. I think I can do that. I don't know. This is my first time doing this. We'll figure out a way.
Yeah.
Slow ride. Say, yeah, my father-in-law's been in Canada 45 years. Still sounds like it's fresh off the boat. Yeah, it's how it goes. That's look.
Is it Newfoundland in Canada where the accent is basically Irish? It's mad. You see, I've seen videos of like, it's Newfoundland, and I've seen videos of people, and it's just like kind of, you sound like you're from fucking Kerry.
Yeah. It's gas as well, because I was watching Yoke on Discovery when I discovered that, ironically. But there was like a load of Newfoundland people going along on they were all, I don't know, piloting a boat. What the hell do you call it? Captaining? I don't know. They were sailing a boat.
They were boating.
And but they were on interviewing them then, and there was a guy from Ontario interviewing him, so he sounded hilarious. Anyway, like the Ontario accent, which is fantastic. And then all these lads started talking. I was like, where did he say they're from?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, hold on a second. He's going picking stones tomorrow.
He is. They even slur the S like a proper West of Ireland pod.
Stones.
Yeah, stones.
Gorilla, when is your WWE tryout? D-Cycle, the great Cali. Yeah, I wish. Honestly, I would totally try out for the WWE tomorrow, but I'd be one of those like really. I'd just be like Brock Lesnar. He goes in now and just like hits a couple of moves and then pins someone. That's it, and it's like.
I'm just going to start calling you I'm just going to start calling you Goldberg from now on.
Bill is my favorite.
Oh yeah, just go shave the head, turn the beer into a goatee. You're fucking set, mate.
Actually, we have something coming up about the whole shaved head thing. Bear with me for a second. Dad and Mad, I'll say, look, okay, yes, I will have you, absolutely. We'll figure out how to get you on there in a second. I'll send you. Can I? What do I just put a?
Bring her on.
How do I put a link into the thing, or?
Or just private message it to him, put it in the link, whatever. Yeah, I'd say if you just put it into the chat there, and if you just click it, Dad and Mad.
Yes, that would work.
Goldberg.
I love Goldberg. But yeah. Oh yes, about that. So like as part of my 1,000 subscribers, I think I said when I did the 500 I would do a giveaway again. So this isn't the official announcement. I put up a video on how we're going to get there, but I will be doing a giveaway. It'll be for like a t-shirt, a hat, or a picture of your choice. I'll figure out what I'm going to do for that. But in the meantime, if anyone would like to, I was considering, and this is how I'm getting away with this, you see, because Toaster would absolutely murder me if I shaved my head again. I look like a thug, apparently, with a shaved. That's what she says. Yeah, you look lovely, Paddy. I think it's the beard, shaved head. But if people want, I was thinking about doing some form of fundraiser for a charity anyway, and then we'll throw that together, and then I'll shave my head on video if people are interested. Just move it together.
I kind of should have done mine on video. It would have been some good ASMR shit.
Yeah, ASMR shaving Paddy's head. Just at the end, then come out with some classic Paddy statement.
Yeah. Or just be this nice silent video, and then like Kate, who shaved it, would have been nicked me or something. I'd have been like, "Oh, for fuck's sake!" in the middle of it or something.
And just smash it to black.
Yeah, just my usual swearing, like
Perfectly normal.
Oh yeah.
What was it? More like by the way, actually, if anyone hasn't heard of Landshark does. I'll try to 50th eyebrows go. No, Landshark does like motovlogs as well. Go check him out. There's one video of his that I actually still watch consistently. It was like him riding in a lightning storm, thunderstorm, and the edit he did on it was fantastic. I actually watch it like, a good bit. It's really good. And he also has 14, which is
on point. It is very good.
I'm coming out of this lockdown looking like a fat macho man. Grant, you couldn't get fat if you tried. I will put on a bet. I bet you can't get fat. I don't think it's possible. If I breathe air, I get fat.
I used to be like that, and then I gave up smoking cigarettes. I moved on to the douche flute, as I'm sure you've all noticed, and I'm like naturally quite a thin man, but like 2 stone, that's like 28 pounds for you Americans, or like about 15 kilos in metric. Like literally in 2 weeks, I just put on 2 stone, and I'm just like, turns out I can get fat.
Yeah, I'm like, I think I'm currently I was down to like 122, and then this happened. I'm up to like 126 kilos again. So I don't really go above that no matter what I do. I always hover around there. I'm
about 90 now, which is 14 stone and all money.
I was laughing at Kieran.
Anton Smoke, how long have you been down there in Australia? I have been there 11 years this month, actually. The 27th of April 2009, I landed in Perth Airport.
I was still in school.
Oh, jeez, you're only a young fella, sure.
Yeah, 28 in June. Yeah. I just look 40.
Yeah, I'm oh Christ, I'm 39 soon. Fuck, I'm nearly 40. Jesus.
We'll have to have an old live stream party for you, Paddy.
Yeah, exactly. I have to do something mad on the bike for me 40th.
Do a wheelie on a V-Strom.
Oh yeah, she would. She would.
Easily.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Dad and Mad's in the green room. Put him on there, big man.
He is here, and there he is. Hello, Dad.
How's it going?
I still laugh.
Dad, how are you?
I'm all right, mate.
Gorilla, you need to start wearing glasses, mate.
I actually have glasses. I just never wear them because they're not good glasses.
Put them on. There we go. Now we look like the world's shittest boy band.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever worn my glasses on the channel ever. I look cute now.
4 eyes.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I need them to see though, so it's important.
Yeah.
Dad, do you want to introduce yourself and tell everyone about your channel, etc.? Same as Bri.
Yeah, I can do. Yeah, thank you, mate. So you can call me John. I'm from Dad and Mad. So our channel is about me and my daughter Mad. She started riding with me when she was 5. She's now 7, and we ride together on my 2014 Harley Davidson Sportster 883. My wife, Mama Soph, she's known as on YouTube and Insta. She got a full license in October last year, and she rides a Honda Rebel 500. So this year was going to be the year where she would come out with us, and we would go out as a family and start venturing out a bit further afield. But that's been. Yeah, it's going to be good, but we've just been waylaid a little bit because of everything that's going on.
Yeah, haven't we all?
Yeah.
Those Rebels are fantastic, but it's actually another buddy of mine on YouTube, Grom Trooper, has the Rebel and like goes everywhere on it. It's his kind of utility bike, as he calls it. He has 4 bikes now, I think 5 maybe. Yeah, so it's mad, but he uses that one the whole time. Also, if anyone hasn't checked out Dad and Mad, I would advise doing that. It's class. Like I think that is really cool what you're doing as well with Mad, that she'll be able to look back on those videos. That's class, genuinely.
Thank you very much, mate. I appreciate it. It just started as somewhere to record our memories on. It was initially Instagram and then developed into YouTube, and now we've got 400 people following, which is crazy. Like you were talking about earlier, Paddy's insane. So
her interview is fantastic. Her questions are great. She's so
Thank you, man. We're having a lot of fun with that right now.
Yeah, that's really good.
It's a really unique thing that you're doing as well. It's like and I suppose in the motor vlogging community, I guess it's kind of hard to stand out, because like you know, normally it's just some big white dude on a motorcycle just riding down the road, like, you know, and as there's 4 big white dudes on the screen, but you know, it's like, you know, and the fact that you have like your daughter and stuff, it totally sets your channel apart, which is really good, man. And like, again, she asks great questions, man. It's excellent stuff.
And in fairness, the sport for such a part, so that bike is beautiful.
Yeah,
I love it. I love it. We may need something bigger. I'm just trying to. I might try saddlebags on it first, but I want to be able to go further. It's not so much my comfort, but Mad's comfort when we're going sort of distance. So we'll see what happens.
What would you?
So what were you looking at again?
Just going full bore and getting a road glide.
Yeah, road, that was their class.
I rode a road glide in the US. Absolutely loved it. It was like, and I mean this is an absolute confidence. It was like a massive a compliment. I mean, it was like a massive V twin lounge seat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I was surprised how nimble it was. They let me take one out by myself, and I was scared to death. I told the guy, and I couldn't believe after like a mile or two, I'm like, this thing is like riding a Versus.
It's when you get it up and running, it's so like it was a bit like, and I rented one in the US, and I rode down the Florida Keys on it. That wasn't a bad day, I'm not gonna lie. And but the issue I had with it, I suppose, is that at low speed I found it very heavy, but once you got it up and running, yeah, of course I was riding a Yamaha R3 at the time, so it was like, you know, it was like getting out of a Kia and getting into a fucking Range Rover, like, you know, you're gonna spot the difference there, like, and yeah, it was an amazing bike.
JT Southern Fried, welcome. JT Southern Fried has a bike that it's one I'd actually really like at some point as well. The Striker, I think they're absolutely gorgeous. Beautiful bike.
There was one of those advertised for sale here recently, and every now and again the ad pops up in Facebook Marketplace, and I'm like,
I still have the ad. It's actually open in a tab here in front of me. I have the ad still open for that SV1000S that I've been looking at for literally months.
Yeah,
I'm still trying to convince myself not to get it, because I'd like, you know, if I buy it, there's not a hope in hell I'll sell it, and then I'll just be like, oh, I've another bike.
And that Striker of JT's, that is a standout bike. That does, you know, certain people, you see their bike and you know exactly who it is without even seeing the person that rides it. So when you see JT's bike, you know it's JT Southern Fried. It's a cool looking bike.
Yeah, I know they are, absolutely. And I love even the paint on his one is fantastic. What would Grant do is a nice little comment for you there, Paddy.
What? Where is it?
Once you got it up, Paddy 2020.
I can't fucking. Where the fuck is it? What did he say? Read it out there.
I think I can display it on the screen. 1 second. Show.
Oh, please do. Please do.
There you go. That's what he said.
Once you got it up.
I enjoyed that. Donna Main, I rode the new Indian Challenger. I'm hoping that when Franklin get in the Challenger, I get a spin of it. They've kind of said to me that won't be a problem, because I've rode the Chieftain with them and the Roadmaster. And it's funny actually, Paddy, that's the one thing. The Chieftain for me was light, and like what would Grant do was with me that day, and so was Moto Dragon. And Grant will tell you, I kind of still made that bike look small, but the Chieftain. It's ever since they came out, the Indian Chieftain Dark Horse, I have absolutely adored them, and I will own one day. That's unless I like life or whatever. But with the Challenger, I'd love to ride them as well. But the Roadmaster, I felt the same as the Rogue like this. That was a heavy bike, slow speeds. Like, I mean, you'd feel it on your hip when you're putting your foot down. You know, and I'm like, I probably weigh more than everyone here. Yeah, probably everyone here, but that still was a tough bike to handle. So I can't imagine how a smaller individual would enjoy riding that. To be honest, even just in slow traffic, you'd be in bits. Chewy, I would love to ride a Rocket 3 one day. I know that I can do this. I hope you get it, Chewy. Eventually, I hope you get one. They're class.
Yeah, man. Yeah. There's actually a few of the old model Rocket 3s around here, and like bloody amazing bike. Like, you know, I just every now and again I just see one and I'm just like, oh, I'd like that.
Class.
It's just such a good bike for where I live as well. Like, you know, where it's just there's huge distances between places and stuff, and that I'd just gobble it up. Like, you know, just be such a good bike.
Drunken Irish, how are we getting on the Drunken Irish?
How are we, mate?
See, I think the thing as well about the Rocket 3 is it's like the VMAX and stuff like that. It's kind of a bike out on its own, and I know a lot of people will say it's not really, but it is. There is nothing else that is that engine type, you know, in that configuration. That obviously there's stuff there that competes with it, but it is, to my mind, if you're going to buy a Rocket 3, there's nothing that's going to kind of take your mind away from buying a Rocket 3. Do you know what I mean? If you want one of them, there's no competition. So
it's like if you're playing a game of motorcycle top trumps, the Rocket 3 is going to beat everything else like it. Like, you know, when it comes to the stats and everything, like, you know, it's like, especially the new one, like, mother of Jesus, like it has a larger engine size than my fucking Toyota Camry, for God's sake. Like, you know, it's insane.
And even I think it was the Bearded Bobber Road one, and like he was saying, you know, even when you gun it, it's just it has so many controls on it now that it's not absolutely terrifying. Like, it's funny when Shade Tree Surgeon goes on about his one, he's like, you know, it'll light your pant leg on fire, and you know, it's absolutely terrifying to ride it, but he loves it. Now, I personally would probably like the older one, mainly due to that, but the fact that the new one is still an absolute mental asylum on wheels, and it's controllable by your average person, I think that's going to do a lot for them, genuinely.
Yeah, exactly. They're like
super like a word at you.
Have you tried the Livewire yet?
No, I haven't done the Livewire yet, but I want to. I've rode the Zero SRF and also the Zero DS. Thanks to Franklin in Dublin as well. They're absolute gents to deal with. I needed to order everything for the Phaser and I couldn't get it properly online. So I literally rang him. His shop is currently closed and he's getting it in for me at a great price. So just shout out to them. They're brilliant. Like, there should be more dealers like them. But,
Steve,
yeah. Hopefully I'll get to ride Livewire as well, because he's gotten onto the Waterford Harley Davidson. So once this is all over, I'd like to ride one, yeah.
There's one huge problem with the Livewire though, because I just looked up the price of it here. And it'll be like about $45,000 here in Australia.
We'll see bike.
Yeah,
I'd rather get a CVO Road Glide for that price.
Yeah. Like, sure, like, you know what, like, at that sort of thing, I'd have a top spec Goldwing or K1600 Beamer and some bloody change. Like, you know, it's doesn't make a lot of economic sense at the present time for and the range is like 235 kilometers an hour in that city, and electric vehicles do worse on the highway. It's the opposite. Combustion engine, so it's about as much use as a chocolate teapot around here with that range.
I mean, it's worth it on somebody else's dime to try it, but it's just not.
Yeah. But do you know what the funny thing is? I did out I actually have I don't have it made yet, but I'm going to make a video. I did a comparison between the SRF and my Yamaha Phaser, because I thought that'd be interesting to do. So, like, purchase price of the Yamaha versus the full purchase price of the SRF over 5 years, because I've had the Yamaha nearly 5 years. And the SRF, it's actually in the 5th year, it becomes cheaper than the Yamaha. Believe it or not.
All right, I have a question though. Generally speaking, how much of us keep bikes for 5 years? How many of us keep bikes for 5 years?
See, that's the thing. I wouldn't have unless I had to keep the Phaser.
I know a lot of people on bikes don't keep them 5 years.
But a lot of people on bikes spend more than 3,500 buying their bike, which is what I spent on the Phaser, and I'd still get that Phaser.
Yeah,
it's 4 years today for me since I've had my Sportster.
That is a good thing. Yeah.
Actually, we didn't do that with you. So could you go through your bike history, please? And Paddy, judging face on, please. Right, judging face. Go on.
I had so my first bike was first bike was a Suzuki Bandit 600.
Okay.
We'll allow it.
That was my first bike. Then I had I kept the Bandit throughout, So alongside that, I also had a Triumph Street Triple R 675. What else did I have? I had a Suzuki GSXR 750 S-Rad.
Oh, an S-Rad.
That was a beautiful bike, but it just wanted. It just wanted to go fast everywhere. Like it hated going slow, and I was going to get myself into a mischief one way or another. So
yeah, fantastic bike.
My friend owns that now, and then I got my Sportster, and alongside the Sportster, I've now got a different Bandit. So my other Bandit became economically,
unviable.
Yes, it had a bunch of work that needed doing to it. That was going to need the engine ripping out, and I'm not that enough mechanically minded enough to do all that. So the price it would have cost, the bike was written off and I was paid for it, and it only cost me 300 quid to put back on the road. So it only owed me 300 quid. So it would have grieved me to have spent, a few hundred quid on getting the engine done. So I've got another 600 Bandit, which I use for the commute to work.
Yeah. And that's why I still have the Phaser. Is like, I could use the Magna to commute to work, but it's just, it's you have to choke it every morning. It starts up like a band of angry, drunken army people firing guns into the air. Literally, it starts with pops and bangs. Like, so I don't think my neighbors would like that either. But yeah, no, I completely understand that. By the way, I don't think we can make a face at that history. That's a good history of bikes.
Thank you very much. I think I've been riding for 10 or 11 years, and those are my 4 bikes here.
That's about as good. There's not a stinker in the bunch there.
No,
man. That's pretty good.
Not at all.
I'll take that.
So we have Donna Main saying not a fan of e-bikes. So I'm not I'm not saying that I'm not a fan, but would I buy one right now? No. Do I think they have a place? I think they do. There's actually one person. There's a couple of comments actually on the review I did on the SRF. And there's someone who's on there saying, look, I would have never thought about getting into bikes until the SRF came along. And the way I look at it is, if the e-bike gets in someone who otherwise doesn't want a bike, it's still a bike. They're still out of a car. They're still onto 2 wheels. And I think that's great. And to my mind, right, I think, and even I pretty much proved my point with Toaster. It took me many years to convince her to come on a bike. And she's been on my bike a few times since the first time she got on it, which there's a video on the channel. But I think that's what happens. If someone does get an e-bike and says, "Oh, actually, I really like this," and then they're like, "Okay, well, look, there's a different type of bike. I want to try that," and then they try it and go, "Okay, this is awesome," and then they have another bike, and then they might swap the e-bike, etc. So it's definitely an entry point for different types of people, which I think is class. I think more people who get on bikes, the better. So
absolutely, and if I still lived in a big city, I would totally consider one.
100%, yeah, 100%. I think it makes a lot of sense commuting wise. If you can afford it, like obviously the entry cost is still massive, but that will come down.
Absolutely,
Doesn't Zero have one that's like 7 or 8 grand?
Maybe over there. Here, I think the cheapest is the DS, which isn't that cheap.
I was looking at the Zeros because there's a dealership near me that sells a Zero, and I've followed them for some years since they first sort of jumped on the scene. And I work in the city centre. I work in Birmingham city centre, which is like the second city in the UK. And they were good. They were, before it was confirmed that they weren't going to charge motorcycles. They're introducing a the ultra low emission zone type thing. Before they've now negotiated so motorcycles aren't getting charged, but at one point they were going to, and I figured it out that I could buy a Zero motorcycle and it would pay for itself. And it would cost me less to have that bike for 5 years than it would to pay the ultra low emission fee.
Do you know what?
I could pay the local council, or I could buy myself another electric I could buy another motorcycle for the garage. But
especially with a Harley, the maintenance cost is crazy if you don't do it yourself.
And that's for a lot of bikes though. A lot of bikes are. I mean, if I didn't do my own maintenance on the Phaser, that bike would have cost. Like I put a lot of. Relatively speaking, in Ireland, say I put a lot of mileage up on it. It's nothing like what you guys in America do. But yeah, that would have cost me, I'd say, 10 times what I've put into it, and that would have meant that I couldn't have bought the Magna. So for me, definitely, if I can do it myself, I'll do it myself.
My Strom, because I bought it new, it's still under warranty, so I get everything done as per the servicing schedule and all that, obviously. But actually really cheap. So it's actually not expensive to do, because obviously Suzuki V twins are pretty common.
That's something I think that will be cool when motorcycles become hybrids. I think that could be something super interesting.
Yeah.
Especially bigger bikes.
Yeah.
Goldwing hybrid would be killer.
Yeah.
That's it. You use your electric in
K1600 hybrid or something like that. Yeah, it would absolutely work, I think. Yeah.
There's another interesting conversation. Sorry, go on, Brian.
What do you think about automatic bikes with the DCTs with Honda? I think that's a huge market that Harley needs to look at for their big bikes.
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't buy one myself. But there are people definitely, especially like if you if you want a big Harley and you live in a city, for example, and you're a bit older, for example, like, and you're not able to manage that sort of crap as well as you used to have been. Absolutely, I'd say they'd sell a shit ton of them.
That's a good point, because I know a guy who had, I can't remember the name of it, but you know where you can change gear with the buttons on the lever.
Yeah,
I had a guy who had to get one of those fitted. So something like an automatic bike would be perfect to keep people on two wheels. And why wouldn't you want to keep people on two wheels?
Absolutely, yeah. I think it's kind of the same argument as the electric bike. You know, it's not for everyone, but it'll get different types of people into biking. Personally, I have ridden a bike with DCT. I absolutely hated it. But again, does it have a place? It does. I know someone the person who owns that bike does have an injury to his left arm after coming off a bike and found it very hard to use a clutch. But also the same guy is like militant style against cars for whatever reason. So he had to find a way to do it. Just happened to get the Africa Twin actually with the DCT, and he absolutely loves it. So you know, there's a place for him. I just wouldn't buy one.
I think it'd be weird. Like, I remember when I was younger and I first drove an automatic car and I stamped the brake expecting it to be the clutch. So I can only imagine what your muscles are trying to do when you first ride an automatic.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird.
Weirdly, my mum has to drive an automatic car, and as such, when I was learning to drive, and this is unusual in Ireland because automatics, especially back then, they were very uncommon in Ireland, and like, my mum was literally the only one I knew who had one. And so I was always going between manuals and automatics, always from the day I started driving. So like, even to this day, like in Australia, the majority of cars are automatics. My own car's an automatic now, but even no problem going between the two. But again, just because I'm used to it. And I'd imagine, like, I've ridden scooters before as well. I used to have a scooter, and that was a CVT auto. So I'd probably be all right. But again, if you don't have that prior experience, I suppose there would be a bit of a learning curve, shall we say, at the start. And, you know, it can be a quite disconcerting. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It can be quite disconcerting, definitely. Like, yeah, absolutely.
The thing I found weirdest with it is corners. Like, if you have a tendency to occasionally ride a bit like an asshole, which I do. You know that, like, especially on the way home from work, it's the non-videoed ones, but you know that for me there's a particular bend, a nice long bend on the way home from my house, and like, I know what speed I want to be doing to use the whole of my bike, say. And I remember I was doing something similar with that Africa Twin, because this same fella, you know, I've known him for a long time. I know if I'd crashed his bike, he would have been okay with it, provided I fixed it. Yeah. He told me to ride it on, so I did. He gave me the permission. And the first corner I got to, I full nearly lost like the entire contents of my lower bowels, because it scared me so much. I was coming in, I was fully happy. I was like, this is where I want to be, and I was leaning. They do have a lean angle sensor where they don't change past. Obviously, I wasn't there yet, and I just went, oh, he wants to go up a gear. I was like, no, I don't do that. So yeah, it is. Now I know they have improved it since. The DCT technology has improved since, but yeah, that was weird, and that was hard to trust.
Yeah, it's like I remember when I first drove a DCT car, I found it weird, but I got used to it in no time. Like, you know, and I'd imagine it's the same on bikes, that once you get used to its quirks and what have you, and know how it works, you'd probably be all right. Like, and I suppose, like, and again, like in that situation, I guess you had done it so many times a particular way when it didn't do it exactly the way you were used to doing it, like, you know, it'd be kind of, what the fuck is happening here? But, you know, that's to be expected, like, you know, and I think with anything you get, like, you know, even you might ride a different, like, you might ride a different sort of bike, even with a manual gearbox, and end up taking the corner completely differently. Like, it depends on the bike. Like,
of course. It depends on the engine, you know, etc. The configuration. You'll ride a single cylinder hell of a lot different to a 4-cylinder. So
absolutely, yeah. I've only ever owned twins, so I wouldn't know. But yeah, lads, I'm going to have to go on because I've got some shit to do, and I'm sitting outside, and it's already over 30 degrees, and I'm a pool of sweat here, and it's a good thing it's not smell-o-vision, I can tell you that. But so I'm going to mosey on, lads. Thanks very much for having me on. Nice to meet you, Bri and Dad. And to the lads in the comments, make note of who's in the chat and check out their channels, please. Do it, or else I might make another ranty video. And I'll talk to you all later, folks.
See you, sir.
Hey, Paddy, thank
you. Good luck. Bye-bye.
See you later.
Does anyone else want to join us on the live stream? We'll leave that question there for people. So, tell me something, right? I know I've spoken about it in several videos, and I think it's coming up in another video, but the SV1000S, yes or no from me too? I'm getting as many opinions on this as I can, by the way. I want a V-twin. So, SV1000S, yes or yay or nay with my current crop of motorcycles?
I'm a big fan of V-twin. I mean, now, is that a cruiser? I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with it.
The SV1000S, no, it's like it's somewhere between a sports tour and a sports bike. Okay. It's not yet.
It's a bit it's a bit like a V-twin Bandit, right?
Oh, is that the Honda?
No, it's a Suzuki SV1000S. So it's hold on, I think can I share my screen actually? I'll show you the exact ad of the one that I want. Share screen. Hopefully there's nothing weird on my screen. There's probably not. Ignore all of my tabs because
really doing. And he froze. We lost him.
I think Anton said no, sporty. He's gone. He's done.
We've lost the host, Dad. Bad.
He'll come back. He'll come back. I have faith. I have complete faith. Yeah, I think I remember the. Say again, bro. Sorry, mate.
No, that's fine. Go ahead.
The SV, they used to do I know they used to do an SV650, and the way I always looked at it as like a V-twin version of a Bandit. It was like I'm not sure if you have Bandits over there. Yeah. So yeah, it's a bit of a sports tour. Oh, he's gone. Hopefully he'll come back in. He said this happened last time too. Yeah, they're a nice bike. They're quite popular, same as the Bandit, especially with. They're especially popular when you first start riding. I think the Bandits especially.
Well, the Bandit was like the V-Strom, wasn't it? If I remember correctly.
The Bandit. It's too awkward to show you with my laptop. It's all on charge. It's a good bike. It's just a standard sort of inline 4 sports tour. There he is. Hello, mate.
Hello. Well, I'll share my screen there. I have the tab. I don't know. Literally, hopefully, it won't crash my laptop again. Okay, it looks like it hasn't. So
wow, look at
this is the exact bike. Ignore all of the tabs. I look at a lot of bike things all the time. That's the exact bike that I would like to get.
Okay.
It's UK based.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know when I could get it now, but with everything, that's it. I love it.
So this is the S, isn't it? So this is
that's the S. Yeah.
SV, yeah. Because I was thinking about the SV650 and stuff, where it was like a naked, or you could have it like half fed and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and obviously, look, that's something I have looked at as well. But that particular S is the one that I've been looking at that for months, literally months. So
now, would you be that hunched over?
No, I don't think so. I've ridden an SV1000 before years ago, and I liked it. And I rode the SV650 S recently, and that just put me back in the mindset that I wanted one. Really, it was just
Okay. straight
away. But yeah, at the same time, there's obviously also the massive desire to get something like what you have, Jan. Is the Sportster. I'd love a Sportster. They're a fantastic bike, yeah, and you can just build so much onto them.
I love it. And the beautiful thing is with the sports and stuff, as with a lot of cruisers, I suppose, is, but the sports are so popular. It's over 60 years old. I think it's like 62 years old, the Sportster, and of course they've changed slightly, and the parts won't fit every single model, but you can change the seat, the pegs, the bars, whatever you like especially for a guy of your stature, you can make it fit you, which is what I like about them sort of bikes.
And you see, the other thing with that is, and it's kind of why I've been sticking on not chasing a Sportster more, is my Magna is, I'm kind of caught between keeping the Magna as stock as possible, or just going fully at it. And that's kind of the options, is keep it stock or go for it, because you can get forwards. There's a guy in America who makes really nice forwards for it. I could make my own, but to be honest, the fact I would never make them like that, so I think I'd save up and get them. I did see a comment up there earlier, and I got it destroyed before I got to answer it. Where is it? It's Cal. There it is. So when you're planning on running straight headers on the Magna, I probably won't. But that's an option, is that there's exhaust out there. Again, I'd like to make my own for it. Same with the Sissy bar and stuff. I'd like to put a Sissy bar in it. I'll have to make my own, because there's so little out there for it. But that's kind of the keep it stock, so I don't have to do much work, or go crazy and do a lot of work on it. But if I do that, then I probably won't go the Sportster route for now. So we shall see. And I don't know.
Harleys, there's so many aftermarket parts.
That's the thing. It's unreal.
Ideal than I ever expected to spend, because you can just do anything.
Yeah. You have so many options.
I'm part of that Sports to Sickness UK. It's like a UK based sports owners group. There's like over 8,000 members, and every time I go to a group event, I've been to group events with that group where there's about 700 odd Sportsters, and every single one of them looks different in some way. You can do so much with them. It's awesome.
We need to talk about this comment, Hatchewy. Explain yourself. But yeah, I agree. The fact you can, and even your bike, I think, is the point in case of that. Your bike, you've done so much with it, and it's so cool. To be honest, to me, that's the sort of bike they should be slapping up as an advertisement for that. It's like, put that beside the stock one and go, this is what Dad and Mad did, and this is the standard. This is how,
Well, they kind of do it, don't they? I don't know. Have you seen the Battle of the Kings stuff that they do?
I have, actually. That's true. True.
That was basically their marketing technique, but it also sells bikes, because I think they get the dealerships to pay for the bike, so that the dealership basically buys the bike from Harley, and then they have to then sell it on then. And the bigger dealerships that have got more money behind them can throw more money at it and find someone to buy it, whereas the smaller dealerships struggle to modify the bike to the standards that will win the competition, because they'll never make the money back on the bike, and they're never going to get enough customers back through the door by seeing that bike. So it's a weird thing, that competition, but I like the fact that it shows you what can be done with these bikes and how they all look so different,
and what options are out there. Yeah, absolutely.
Cool part. You can put the same bike next to each other. It could look like a completely different bike.
Absolutely.
Oh, and Bandaman UK, I think I previously said, save for out. Yeah, you did, and I know I should. Yeah, it's definitely the best advice. It's funny, it was kind of 50-50 in that when I posed the question in the video, 50% of people are like, yeah, buy the SV, and the other 50% are, you should buy a house. And it's funny, because all the people are like, buy the SV, they're all younger, and then the other people with actual, life experience, we'll call it, are like, no, you should buy a house. Trust me, buy a house. And I'm like, yeah, I should probably buy a house.
Yeah, I mean, I guess part of me says, yeah, I agree with that. Part of me is like, buy the bike.
Yeah.
Buy what makes you happy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, if I did that, then I'd probably make Toaster very unhappy.
If you
about 14 bikes.
If everything ends tomorrow, you're not gonna be able to look back and be like, well, at least I bought that house. You'd be like,
that's true.
At least I bought that bike.
which that's how I've lived my life so far. So
yeah.
Let's see. To be honest, I'm really excited about when I'm allowed back out to the shed to reveal what I have there, because I think that's going to be interesting for a lot of people, especially no more so than me. I'm really excited to work on it, but yeah, we shall see when that happens.
But I guess that's the other thing is if you buy a house, will you get one with a garage or somewhere to keep your bike at home?
Well, that'd be the aim, yeah. So I wouldn't have to keep on the shed rental. Now, to be honest, I was absolutely, I fell straight onto my feet from about 20 stories with that shed. It's so cheap. It's not far from my house, and there's absolutely no hassle. It's 24-hour day access, so it's really the best I could have expected in Ireland. It's actually very hard to get a kind of a shed space rental. And I'm in on it with a load of friends, so I only rent a little corner of it for the bikes. Obviously, I don't need the space for cars or whatever else. They're all using cars, so they pay a little bit more. But yeah, so but that would be the aim. The main, I suppose, reason that I would even consider looking for a house would be to get a shed space or something like that off the house. Yeah.
That's
also, that is part of the reason I really want to go for the SV. That's
there you go.
100% it.
Why the S then? Is it?
I like fair bikes. Don't really have a particular reason. It's funny because if it's a cruiser, I really like the likes of the Road King, the Sportster, stuff like that. That yes, you can have the option to put on a screen or a fairing, but like with my Magna, I'd actually got a screen with that. And I only put it on if I'm doing the 300 odd kilometers up home, up to my parents' house. I'll just put it on, take it off straight away again when I get there, and right in around town with it looking cool. I think cruisers suit the non-fair look, but then at the same time, I really love the fixed fairing cruisers and obviously the Chieftain. So I'm a very confused person in my head. But for the likes of sports tours and sports bikes, I do like fairings. Don't get me wrong, I like nakeds as well, but if you were to put them beside each other, for me and the type of riding I do, I would always go for the half faired or fully faired bikes, just because I think for my style of riding, it makes more sense.
I love a naked bike, I really do. But like you say, when I'm looking at the bigger bikes, I would love a road glide. I never thought I would say that years ago. If you'd have asked me, I'd have said, "Hell no, that's not my cup of tea," But nowadays, I'm like, you know what, that'll do. That'll do me. But it's funny because the day I went to the day before I bought that Sportster 4 years ago, I went to Triumph. It was just I had a buyer lined up for my GSXR, and I thought, right. I said to my mate, I said, I don't know when I'll sell it, but knowing that I've got you lined up to buy it from me, it may be tomorrow, it may be next week, it may be next year, but at least I know that you're having that bike when I decide to change my bike. So
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
The one day I thought I'll go and look at some helmets, and then I thought, you know what, now I'm going to go to Triumph because I've got a buyer lined up for the GSXR, and if they can do me a deal on a street triple R again, I'll have one because I missed it so much. I loved that street triple R that I had. I went to Triumph, and the local Triumph dealership had been closed down, so I was like, what am I going to do now? Harley Davidson was around the corner, so I thought I'll just go and have a look. And at the time, I wanted a Harley. I wanted a Sportster. I'd been looking at them for a few years, but I didn't have a garage at that point. And I thought, I'm never going to fit. In my head, Harleys are big bikes, and I never thought it would fit in my back garden. So I went to Harley Davidson, and they said, how's it going? What brings you to Harley Davidson? I said, Triumph was closed. And he did not enjoy that.
Oh, God, that's hilarious.
And he said, well, do you even like Harleys? I said, yeah. I said, I want one of those, but it's not going to fit in my garden. And he said, well, test ride it, take it home, see if it fits. And I did, and it fitted. So I took it back, returned the keys, went online, found my bike used. It was like 18 months old, 2,000 miles, a bunch of extras on it. I got it for $5,500, which is a steal. So I drove down to Poole. I don't know if you're familiar where that's on the south, like on the south coast in England, and I live in the middle. So it was a few hours, and I bought it the next day. So I went from looking at helmets to buying my bike within about 12 hours.
Yeah, nice. That's generally, like, it's actually funny because a lot of people ask me why I didn't record buying the Magna. And the reason for that is because I was looking for that exact bike, that 87, 88 Super Magna, for, like, I mean, I think I said it before in a video. I liked them since I was about 12 years old, and I was in work, and I work with one of my housemates, and I saw that pop up, and I mean, I rang the guy. I think it was the ad was up 2 minutes, and I was like, I'll buy the bike. I was like, don't even worry about condition. Don't like, I'll buy the bike. I can fix anything that's wrong with it. You know what I mean? And your man on the phone's like, okay. So I went out to my housemate. I was like, how early can you leave today? And he was like, all right, we work on flexi time. So he was like, 2, 2 is the earliest I want to go. And I was like, grand, cool. Can you drive me to Waterford? I'm buying a bike. And he was like, what? Like, yeah, I'm buying a bike. So I had my helmet with me. Obviously, I was in on the phaser. So went off to Waterford, and that was it. Just rode home with the Magna. So that's why it was never recorded. I literally didn't have anything with me.
Yeah. Ours was close by too. I think sometimes that's just how it happens.
I think most of the time, to be honest, if you think about these things too long, you go, no, you'll always find something to spend the money on. So I just try not to think too much.
Oh, yeah.
Saturday all day on the bike, and my wife got up the next day, and she was just like, "This, I'm just in so much pain." She was fed up with the bike, and we wound up looking at the Ultra, and they were blowing them out. It's like you couldn't beat it. I wasn't prepared financially necessarily, but
And actually, I don't know, did you hear the conversation me and Paddy had at the start about the, buying a stripped down bike? But what would you, if the option was there, would you have bought like a bare bones Harley for your style, with literally just like you had the fairing on it and it was as comfortable, but none of the extras? Would you have went for that, or would you went for your bike?
I fell in love with the Iron 883 when I saw it. I wasn't a Harley guy as such back then. I didn't really know enough about them as much as I do now. So I just, when they first released that Iron 883, I just saw that it was a matte black Harley, no chrome about it, and I was like, that's my kind of Harley. I want that bike, and I wanted it ever since I saw it. Knowing what I know now, maybe I would have gone for an older, like Anton says in the chat, I would have gone for a carbed sporty 1200, and that's what I bought for Soph. Funnily enough, Soph wanted a sporty. She saw this purple 1200 S, which had the dual, the twin disc on the front. It had the adjustable front and rear suspension. It was carb. It was, it was pre-rubber mount. It was it was mint condition, and we went and bought it for her because she said, "What about the 1200?" I said, "It'll only go as fast as you want it to go. Like, it's just a throttle."
That's always the way, yeah.
And it's not going to weigh any more really than an 883. So if you want it, we'll go and get it. So we rode up and got this. We drove up and got this Sportster, got it back here, and it was a beautiful bike. I got to ride it while she was learning to ride. She passed the test, got on the bike, and she struggled with the weight of it. And it wasn't until she passed and she went to ride it. I mean, yeah, she tried it on when we went to buy it and in the garage and stuff, but it's not until she's got the gear on, she goes to ride it, that she realized this is a lot of bike for me, and she didn't feel right. She didn't feel confident. And if you don't feel confident riding, then
you won't ride it,
So unfortunately we sold it. And part of me was like, I love the power of that bike. I love the way it ticks over with the carb and stuff. Do I get rid of my Iron and keep that and make it my own? But that's my bike. I can't do that.
Yeah, no, that bike is that. But when you see that bike, it's yours. Do you know what I mean? That's the big thing about that. I just go through a few comments here again. So Hatchewy, why are you too scared to go buy gloves? Well, where do you buy your gloves? The rocket dealership probably.
Is it because you need to be wearing gloves at the moment to go and buy something? And if you've got none.
If you go check out one of Hatchewy's most recent videos, and by the way, Hatchewy is also a motor vlogger and also a very talented musician. But his gloves, he has a massive hole in the left-hand side one. It's like, just man, go buy new gloves. Love of God.
Hard to find good gloves.
Huh?
It's hard with gear. I don't know about you guys, but I hate switching gear. I bought a pair. No, they're not here. Bought a pair of Milwaukee leather gloves. They're great. They have the little touchscreen fingers. 300 miles, the freaking finger fell off. That sensor part fell off.
I'll be honest. I've had quite a few pairs of gloves actually, including dirt bike gloves. But the best pair I've ever had are my current summer gloves, which I wore all through winter because I don't like winter gloves. So I just let them get drenched and dry them off, which technically speaking should ruin them, and they're still perfect. So Bearing Moto, I know they're kind of a more expensive brand in general, but those gloves, I got them on sale and they're absolutely brilliant. Like the full knuckle protection. They are short gloves, so if you don't want to snap your hand off if you fall off, probably not for you. Get a gauntlet. But for me, the fact that I can wear them on the Phaser and the Magna, they're just plain black. I absolutely love them. And you know, as you probably know, the 2E, you know, because you ride cruisers, like gauntlets don't work on a cruiser, so you can't have them on a cruiser. But yeah, I really like them.
Yeah, I mean, I commute all year round to work and stuff, so it gets pretty cold. I found a really nice winter pair of gloves when I first started riding, and they lasted me up until maybe last year. I had a hole in the there was a hole in the finger, there was a hole in another finger, but they were keeping me warm, and I was scared that if I was to buy another pair of gloves, they wouldn't be as warm as these gloves. They're like an old pair of slippers, you know, and I just kept using them. But
Yeah,
I've got the I've got the RST Thermatech heated gloves. I bought them. A friend of mine, he had them as a gift, and he sold them me cheap. So the battery life is good enough for the commute on the really cold, you know, 5 a.m. starts for me in the winter. But I generally just wear them without the heated bits on, and they're a decent winter glove.
Very nice. I think any of those heated gloves are the job. I mean, I'm constantly being told by a lot of people to just, you know, buy heated grips, but I know I should, but at the same time, like I've never, like I ride all through winter, and I think, you know, generally if it's icy, I won't, just because I have the option of a car. So, you know, if my one isn't running, which it's an older Saab with high mileage, so generally I haven't put any work or effort into it, and I used to do a lot of mechanicking work for cars. So you never fix your own. That's the usual. Plus I just don't use it. So. But you know, if it is icy, I'll take the option of a lift or something else. Like obviously, I work with my housemate, but those winter gloves were all right all the way down to like 2 degrees this year. It's just, you know, when you got off, couldn't feel my hands, just pop them on top of the engine for a minute and you're fine. So I mean, do I really need heated grips? I don't know. I probably should get them.
I had heated grips on my Bandit. They came free when I subscribed to a magazine.
Nice.
So yeah. So I think I paid like 20 odd quid for the subscription for the year, and I got these free heated grips, which were worth like 80 quid. So I was
not bad.
So I had those on my first Bandit, and then they were good. But then when I changed bikes and I didn't take them off the Bandit, I thought, do I get heated grips? Well, I had 3 bikes in the garage at the time, so I was like, heated gloves, at least you can take those on whatever bike you like.
Yeah.
And the thing is, with the grips, they heat the inside of your hand, where really you want that heat on the back of your hand, because that's what gets cold. So the heated gloves, the ones that I've got anyway, they heat the back of the hand, so they're perfect.
Yeah, and it's funny actually, because Graham Trooper, again, the another fellow I know on YouTube, he lives out in New Mexico, where, you know, obviously, you know, you see things on telly and you go, it's always hot there, but you know, it gets very cold obviously at the night time in winter. And he has a pair of heated gloves, and that's exactly the comment he made, is to heat the back of his hands and actually keep his hands warm. So that is cool. Also, just to point this one out, number 1, welcome, and number 2, absolutely. That's how my other friend wrote me into collecting the SV650S with him. I mean, I rode that bike all the way back from Dublin for him. So we went up in the car. That's a 200 to where we were going, about a 280 kilometer drive, and then I rode that back for him, the 280 kilometers. And I was still actually, it was a great, it said a lot for the bike that when I got back, I was still not only comfortable enough and loose enough, but, you know, not in a grumpy mood, that I still jumped on. We got back, stopped at the petrol station near my house, and then that's when I did that first video, a Biker is Born video with him, which popped out to the shed, collected the Magna, and went off together. I mean, I rode that bike in total that day for about probably 3.5, 4 hours, and jump back on it the next day to do the review. I really liked that bike. They're not fast in any way, shape, or form. That 650 V-twin, but they're fun and they sound fantastic with the carbs. They're just beautiful noise off them. Absolutely. So again, I'm just going to pop the link for the live stream in if anyone else wants to join us live. Otherwise, by the way, if either of you need to leave at any point, just let me know. I have no problem ending this whenever. I'm easy.
Perfectly. It's a huge difference. That's the one thing that I really was sold with the Harleys. I got bars on mine, and the minute I got bars on it, that 50-pound fairing was like it wasn't there.
Yeah.
You know, it makes a big difference. And you know, once you get past the cost of it and you get a bike that fits you, it's a huge. I mean, I'm not grinding the floorboards by any means, but even just making U-turns in parking lots, you just have a lot more confidence because it fits you. My arms were just locked out straight. It was so uncomfortable. Makes a huge difference. It's like the gear. You get the gear that fits you properly, you could ride you can ride all day. My wife went from a speed and strength helmet to a Shoei. We both have Shoeis now. It's just night and day, because it fits you. You're comfortable. You're not playing with it constantly.
Absolutely, yeah. And that's actually the biggest change I noticed. Like I have, and I still use it to pop down to the shops, the MT Thunder 3 helmet, but the HJC just fits my head so much better since I got that. And I know it's a step up premium wise. But yeah, Kazawaki, I'm out here. I think of a test tomorrow. No problem, Kaz. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for stopping by. And don't forget. Oh, I know what he means by a test tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow, Kaz. He's talking about me. It's not a test. He's joining me for the podcast. But ever ridden with. I'll pop it up. Ever ridden with cheap leathers to save your hands? But I had Richa gloves. They were actually the ones I had when I started out in the channel. They're white and black. Not at all, Francis. Not at all. We're probably beyond for a while yet. But even in the warm weather, I used to have like black bars running along, kind of all between where the stitch lines were. So you'd go into a shop and people would be looking at you funny. They look like scars or something. I was like, what did you do to your hand? But no, it was a good time riding. Is there anyone else there? Yeah, welcome Mishki, welcome Flipping the Bew Mule. I don't think I've ever met Flipping the Bew Mule.
Flip's a nice guy. He's a good dude.
I must check him out. Is he on YouTube or just?
Yeah, he's on YouTube and Insta. He talks to me and Mad quite often on online.
Very good. Flip and the Blue Mule. Subbed. I shall check you out later, sir. So, do you two have anything you'd like to talk about or ask me any questions? Or does anyone in those comments want to ask me any questions either? Hit us up, or any of the lads, either the two boys.
I was hoping to come and see you this year, but I don't know what's going to happen now, dude.
Yeah, I know. And it's funny because I want to go over to Scotland, I want to go over to the UK, and possibly buy a bike while it's in the UK. And I knew you were coming, and there was someone else as well interested in coming over too. So it's all up in the air, but it's always next year.
Yes, for sure.
It's a weird time.
It's strange, yeah. It's odd because it's funny. Like I'm abiding by the rules, just because I live with other people and it's not fair to them if I don't. But it's weird when you look across the different countries, like Australia and Hatchui and another YouTuber who, by the way, shout out to Hatchui again, and also Webb, capital WEB. Look him up. He makes brilliant videos. He's really, really good. What was I saying? Oh yeah, the funny thing is when you look over there, those guys are still allowed out riding their bikes for their mental health and whatnot, is what the Australians have said. But then it's here. It's odd. It's like you're not allowed to go without outside a 2 kilometer radius of your house unless it's for essentials, which is fine. I understand that. But then it's constant that people are kind of just tricking their way through the roadblocks and whatnot. So it's strange because it's nearly like if you're bold enough, it's easy to get somewhere. But I'm just kind of like, no, I can't do that because my housemate's there. Otherwise, I'd be out in the shed every day because I don't think I'd be risking people doing that. But sure, look, such is life.
Your comment about being the politest zombie apocalypse is hysterical because that's how it feels. I rode down to the Jersey Shore and there's no one to be found. It should be packed.
Yeah, it's so strange.
So surreal. My kid's 15. And he's like, there's nobody here. It's like 95% of the population is just gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's sorry, mate. Go on.
No, go on. No, you first. I was only going to say a load of poo anyway. So
I was going to say, like me, and when it first sort of came in this sort of lockdown for the UK, I thought, well, me, Mad, and Soph could still go out for a little family ride, and it's you're isolated. You're not influencing anyone or seeing anyone. As long as you fill up your bike, you pay contactless or whatever, and then you disappear. But then I thought, the other thing was, and it's going to be different in different areas. depending on what the hospital's like and your health service. But if I were to have an accident on my bike and I end up in hospital, then some nurse or some doctor is going to have to make the decision to cut somebody else loose because I'm more likely to survive than them, you know. Whereas if I wasn't in that hospital bed, they might keep them on that, you know, support, and then they might pull through. So there's that, and there's that extra pressure you're putting on ambulance service and the hospitals and the staff. And plus, even if you went in there with a broken arm, you're putting yourself at more risk of catching whatever it is and then bringing it home to somebody else. Or
that's it, exactly. Yeah.
There's a lot of different, you know, there's a lot of different things, and everybody's got an opinion on it. And I'm not saying I'm, you know, 100%.
Oh, but that's the thing. That's why for me it's as easy just stay home like you're being told, because otherwise, you know, you're going to upset someone, and that's not what I'm out to do at all. So I'm lucky in that I still have to commute to work, and the only legal way I have to get to work is my bike. So I have to use it. That's literally there's no option there. But
what's a few weeks?
Take it handy.
Yeah. What's a few weeks? Like my Soph's, I'm sure she won't mind me mentioning this. Soph's nan is 92 years old. She's her name is Bruna. She's all the way from Italy. She lives over in the UK. She was in hospital for something unrelated and contracted COVID while she was in the hospital.
Oh, Jesus.
But we thought she was a goner because of her age. She's actually pulled through and she's back home now. So
that's great news.
92 years old. So that's crazy.
Italian fieriness there, huh?
Oh yeah. She's tough as old boots, mate.
There's a question here I think we'll all be able to get in on. So I've been looking at bikes for a while. I'm 16, I'd be interested, but my parents want me to be safe and all that. Yeah, sure. We all had that. But the best bet is to get a lesson and see how I feel. That's what I tell everyone. If you have the option, and this is how I started, is if you have the option and have a friend with a dirt bike, whatever else, provided you have the gear, go out in the dirt bike, because you will fall off a dirt bike. It's not in a case of if you will fall off a dirt bike. It hurts, but it hurts a lot less than hitting a road at 100 kilometers an hour. So if you have the option, try out a dirt bike. It gives you a good feel for how bikes feel. They're a lot of fun. And you know that you really have to ride them. But other than that, absolutely get your learner license. I don't know where you're from, but if you're from Ireland, what you have to do is get your learner license, and then you can do lessons before you do the IBT. You don't have to go do your IBT straight off, which is the CBT in England. And I know you have some form of equivalent, Bri, in America. It's like, what's that course you do to get it? It's like something or other.
F, but you don't need to take it. Like you could go out and buy a Road Glide as your first bike.
Oh, Jesus.
You could ride it. It makes no logical sense to me. And I've seen buddies of mine go out and buy 1200 Sportsters or other bikes. You know, they dump it because it's just too much bike, and then it ruins that experience for them.
That's absolutely, yeah.
You would have in America is that, you know, you need to start out at something with a small displacement, enjoy it, even if it's for a year. You have some respect for it. You know, I mean, you see people buying my size bike, and they've never ridden a bike before. They're retired and they want to, you know, just go ride. Okay. But that's why I think, at least in the States, why you can find so many cheap Harleys. There's so many people that see Sons of Anarchy or whatever. You know, Jax Teller or a badass. They watched Easy Rider and they got and buy a bike, and 6 months later, it's got 500 miles on it and it's selling for $5,000 less than they bought it.
Yeah.
I think it's a terrible way to sell bikes.
And it is, but it's funny as well, because I think a lot of people often have the misconception. Like my Phaser, which I've had for a long time, is my first road bike. But I'm always telling people, you know, start out in 125s and start out in 250s, and same to you, Mishki. If you get lessons, try a 125, try 250. But I started out dirt bikes, so I did start out in 125, 250. They just weren't road legal. Did I take them on the road? Yes, but I lived in the country. So yeah, it's fine. But yeah, 125s, 250s. And to be honest, I still have never had as much fun as I had on my WR250. That is by far and away the favorite bike I have ever owned, and I regret not having it anymore every day. I will probably buy another one at some point, and even maybe supermoto it, like chasing two wheels one that you know, something like that.
Got a Pelagio scooter. She doesn't ride it, but it's sitting in our shed, and I'll tell you what, you take that thing out and it brings out the kid in you.
Yeah, that's it.
You know, it's not cool. It doesn't, you know, it doesn't have that rumble to it, but it's a lot of fun. And I think that's what we miss out on.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, it's the big bikes are class. I love big bikes, but definitely you'll never have as much fun as on a small bike, and that's why I don't know where you were here for this earlier, John. I said I'd love to buy, even for commuting. The motorcycles 250 Sabbath. I'd love one of them.
I know
They're
the guys.
awesome.
Yeah, I know Benny and Will and the guys at Mutt, because their headquarters is just not far from me. So
That's awesome.
I'll get to see their bikes being built and getting them. They get part of them shipped in, and they throw them together and stuff.
I must, if it's an option, I'd love to come over and visit there with you. That'd be class. And tell them they have a huge fan in me. I absolutely love their bikes, and Franklin sell them. So
I'm sure I'll be able to. If you came over this way, we'd be able to visit, and they might even give us a couple to test ride for a video or something.
That'd be awesome. So I don't know. Can you see that? Does that pop up for you as well from Francis? So I'll let you two go first. So Bri, you go first. What's your dream bike or bikes? I love these questions.
I'm gonna get in trouble when the wife sees this. There's a part of me that thinks, I'd love to have a road glide with a 131, just a monstrous tour bike. But there's still that part of me that wants to be a Dyna Pro. There's that coastal glide. My dealership made a replica similar to the Laylaw's, that won the King of the, what do they call that? King of whatever it's called, the Harley Challenge. And that bike's just killer with the step up seat. It's just all bike. I think that's the one thing you lose with a touring bike. It's fun, it's comfortable, but it's not that same primal experience as a stripped down bike. So for a second bike, that's what I would buy. That stable, that stock, that chunky fairing on it, it doesn't move. It's kind of fun. It's a choice between that road glide and having a Dyna. I think it's just fantastic.
Yeah.
Put loud pipes on it and just really
good choice. What about you, John?
How many can I have?
As many as you want, really.
Top three.
Go top three, yeah. We're limited to three.
Oh, three now.
It's difficult, but I would have a CVO Road Glide, the Mako Shark one, with that faded blue. I'd have to have that. That would be in the garage. I think I'd have an older 1200 Sportster, but done up how I pretty much like my bike, but an older version of it. And I feel like I should have. I feel like I would have. Part of me still regrets getting rid of that Triumph Street Triple R. So I would probably have the best. I don't know what the current top one of those is at the minute. I think it's the Speed Triple RS or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I test rode the Speed, the 1050, and that was just a wheelie machine. But I kind of like how that feels. So I'll probably get one of those as my number 3.
But that'd be a brilliant mix, because you'd have your big, long tour, you'd have your sporty, and then you'd have your hooligan machine. So yeah, that's exactly. Good mix there. And for me, I think I'll go 3+1. Right, my +1 is my Magna, because that actually is one of my dream bikes that I've wanted forever. So that will never leave. Probably similar to your Iron 883 is something that I can't imagine getting rid of it for now anyway. But other than that, as my kind of as Shadry puts it, dad jeans bike, the 1290 Super Adventure, 100%. I absolutely love those 1290 Super Adventures, and if money was no object, that would be my kind of do everything machine, because they're class. Then, to the surprise of absolutely no one, at Indian Chieftain Dark Horse Elite, because I love them. That one in that kind of bronze color, with the newer wheels, not the old ones. The old ones are nice, but those new ones they have on the Dark Horses now are absolutely fantastic. And then the last one is the tough one. You see, it's between two. So the MT10 or / the FTR 1200. For me, they're both very similar to what I'd wanted, which is an absolute hooligan machine that can still go places. Or a Husqvarna 701. It really depends on my mood on the day, to be honest. Do I want something more super motorway or something, a bit more road orientated? But yeah, similar to yourself, John, in the fact that have a blend of usability to utter, here, take my license right now and let me go have fun for an hour and I'll be back to go to jail.
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh, Hatchewy's mental health rating is gone. I'm sorry to hear that, Hatchewy.
Oh no.
You're welcome to my life.
I'm getting to ride to work and back, which is about 12 miles there, 12 miles
it's
back.
something though, yeah.
It's something, yeah, exactly.
Do you take the long way home by any chance?
I have done, yeah. If you watch, I don't know if you saw my most recent video from yesterday where I tested out my new 360 camera. But
I haven't yet. No, it's on my list.
Yeah, I stopped off at the local ruins where I got to, and there was nobody there, so I just rode on this park where I wasn't supposed to ride, but there was nobody there. So I just.
I thought when I saw that,
I saw the pictures on Instagram. Right, is that from that ride?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, I just did a little cheeky. Sometimes I've done it before when it's been quiet, but there's still people around, so I don't ride around all the paths. But on this time, there was nobody there, so I was like,
that's brilliant. I think I've taken a different way home. So I'm only in 2 days a week. I'm working from home 3 and 2, and I think I've taken a different way home every time. So I've tried to make a video every time. I actually put one in the bin because I don't know, I wasn't really talking about anything interesting, so I just threw it away. But the one out Tuesday now is probably the most interesting way I can take home. It includes a bit of a ferry crossing, so that's really cool. But yeah, 100%. It's what's keeping me sane. Mm-hmm. I understand the feeling, Bandit Man. I hear bikes out here every single night, but similar to what John said earlier is that number one, it's not fair to my housemates, and number two, if you're out at night, you're not going out to go slowly. So we'll leave that there.
The other, just a small point on that as well, mate. I don't know about over there, but I've noticed over here, not only do the bikes want to get out and enjoy those empty roads, but the boy racers doing their cars.
Absolutely, yeah. Heard a lot of them.
You got these boy racers that are going to run red lights, assuming that nothing come in. They're going to be veering over the other side of the road because they're taking a corner too hard, and they could wipe you out. So part of that is playing on my mind when I'm riding as well. Even though I'm getting to ride to work, I'm very conscious that people could be driving like idiots because the roads are quiet.
And it's even that people are falling asleep. Like in the last 2 rides to work I did, and I didn't film them now, so I can't show you, but they were heavy fog, which I don't like riding in general. Because people don't see it, but I was coming along, and there's a dual carriageway for me to work. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but I came up beside a car. Now my phaser's pretty loud these days, and he still got such a fright that he very nearly veered the car into me, because I just appeared from the fog, and he was half asleep because there was no one around him. So it's just you can't even really blame someone for that. It's fairly easy to kind of drift off in that situation. So you just have to be extra careful, really, which is funny because you think you're safer in the quiet roads, but really you might not be.
Yeah, exactly.
No one's paying attention to the speed limit here, that's for sure.
I can't comment on speed limits. I have an ongoing argument with them myself. So I won't bring myself into that battle. That's funny. That's true. Like, because even here, I went down to one of the local shops today just because I was only getting a few small things, to add to the food stocks, but most of the big shops have the whole, all the social distancing and crap in place, and the security guards and limit into the shop. But this one, I just turned around and went home because it was literally like it was a free for all. I was like, come on. And then the funniest thing was I went for a walk today, which turned into like a 9-kilometer walk. So I was pretty tired, but in a 2-kilometer radius, all the back roads I haven't explored near my house. But there was like the amount of old people popping in and out at each other's houses visiting. I'm like, come on. But at the same time, I can understand it. I mean, if you're living alone at that age, you kind of.
I mean, I've got one of my best friends lives at the top of the street, and I said, what if you just walk through my garage, don't touch anything, and we just sit 2 meters apart around the fire? Like, is that so bad? Like, part of me wants to do it, but part of me is like, we probably shouldn't, and my neighbors could, like, they might snitch.
That's the thing. Like, I mean, personally, I don't see any issue with it, but then again, I don't see any issue with a lot of things. It's just provided you're thinking of other people and you're doing it. But yeah, for that, it's your neighbors, man. You don't want to piss them off either. Even if they wouldn't snitch, you would just piss them off. Mishki, I'm here in Cork, lad. Well, there you go then. 2-wheel training Curraheen. I think I suggested it before as well. Ian, I think his second name is Spillane. I actually did lessons with him way back when. He's an iDrive Cork. I could not recommend him higher. He has more miles than I'd say most people alive on bikes, and the man knows what's going on. Excuse me. If Toaster ever decides to learn to ride a bike, she'll be going to him. So if I trust him with her, he should believe it's a good recommendation. And I don't think he ever even knows I've given out recommendations. So it's purely from experience. I drive Cork, and I believe his second name is Spillane, and Ian is his first name. But for that one, that's who I'd recommend. I don't know two-wheel training, Corrine, so I can't comment. But yeah, I drive Cork. That's why I'd rather start young and small, get a good name and insurance, and actually get experience from it. Yeah, that's 100% it. You know, it's literally that step up in insurance. And I even saw a young enough fella recently try to get insurance on an MT-07, which is by many considered a great starter bike. And I believe his insurance was, you know, over €3,000. So like half the cost of the bike. And at that age, I mean, I've been there. You don't have €3,500 for insurance. So yeah, definitely starting small.
For me, like it was when I started working in the city centre that swayed me towards getting the bike license when I did. And when I looked at the insurance, it was no cheaper to have a 125 and insure that than it was to get a 600 Bandit. So for me, it was the only upping cost was getting my license compared to getting my CBT. Everything else was the same, like the insurance and buying the bike. Even a 125 seemed to hold the value because everybody is looking for 125s. Like lots of people are looking for 125. So it was no cheat. Like the Bandit was the same price as a 125 would have been, and the insurance I was getting quotes and they were coming out the same. So for me, I did the CBT on my lessons, and then I just got straight on my 600 as my first bike. I would say just take it as it comes. Just go for your CBT, and if you feel like it and you feel confident, then go for your lessons. If you feel like this is where I'm at right now, I need some more experience, then
that's exactly like my buddy who I got that SV650 for was the same. He actually priced 400s because he wanted to start low, but the SV650 was actually one of the cheapest. And well, you know what I said to him was, look, yeah, it's a bigger bike, but it's not something that, you know, if you absolutely wind down the throttle is going to flip you off the back. It's not that fast a bike. It's actually quite controllable. So, you know, for me, it's absolutely, yeah. Look at your situation. But yeah, if you're especially a smaller young fella or young lady, then try a smaller bike. Just for even as you said with Mama Soph is the weight. The weight is a huge indication. Like it's if
recognizing your own limitations, isn't it? I suppose.
Absolutely. And even for instance, I don't know when I dropped the Phaser, the first time I've ever dropped the Phaser in the back garden, just because it was really slippy. We've old sleepers in the back garden because our landlord who built the house was. I don't know why you do that. You know, they get so slippy. But I put my foot down where I wouldn't usually put my foot down. Happened to slip, and you know, I'm a big guy, but the bike, once it goes past the point, you're not catching it. There's nothing to hold on to. So that's the other thing is if you're, you know, you just got to look after yourself with that, because if that had fallen on me, it would have been a different story. It fell onto the grass, did literally no damage except got a bit dirty. So, but if that had been falling the other way, you know,
you see a lot of I went and got like my Bandit. I think it was like £1,400. You don't really see that happening very often nowadays. You don't see young lads getting on motorcycles. They tend to want to go and get a brand new MT-07 or whatever on finance. They don't think, well, I'm going to go and get a £500
and drop it.
Bandit because I'm only going to ruin it and drop it, and it's something for me to get experience on. They don't seem to want to go for the old beat up bikes. They want the bike that looks good straight out the showroom. Or
I'm the opposite. Like, I mean, I was always the opposite though. There's probably, like I said before, something wrong in my brain. Even now, you know, the bike that genuinely I want most is either an old Harley or that SV. That SV is 2004, and I genuinely like the only new bike I'd currently have an interest in is that Indian Chieftain, and that's a different type of bike, isn't it? Like, you know, I'm not going to be leaning that over at the 45 degrees at the risk of low siding, etc.
Yeah.
Especially with the Phaser, since I put on the top box, I've had a couple of slips with that bike because the top box actually changes completely, which is kind of fun. It's nearly like a challenge, but anyway.
Yeah. I think the same sometimes. Well, I think that's a challenge, you know.
Yeah. This is a good list.
What was that, bro?
do you get a discount if you take training? Like for us, the big discount was if you take a state sponsored, like I was in Pennsylvania at the time and I took the training class, you get a discount on your insurance, which I think is really nice. Do you get that there?
In the UK, I don't know about you, Gorilla, but you have to take your CBT and your test over here, and then you can take advanced training, which is totally optional. That costs a few £100 to do, and then if you do that, some insurance companies recognise that and give you a small discount. But you personally, you're doing those advanced riding things more for yourself than for the marginal discount that you would get through your insurance company.
Essentially the same thing here. Ours is called the IBT, which is a legal requirement, and your pre-test lessons, which are legal requirement, and then that's it really. There's advanced rider training, but again, some insurance companies won't care. So yeah, it's much of a muchness. So yeah, insurance here really it's kind of prepare thyself for your first year. It's not going to be cheap no matter what, unless you get lucky, which some people have gotten lucky for some reason. Just the system likes them. But yeah, in general, yeah, prepare yourself and go in expecting a bit. But it does come down quickly. I mean, now my 2 bikes are insured for, I think I paid $480 for the 2 of them, which, to put that into perspective, I have since 2011, so 9 years. I have 9 years claims-free driving on my car, and that is twice the price to insure as my bikes. And it genuinely, I don't even want to bother keeping the car. Like, I should just get rid of it, to be honest.
I've just renewed my insurance, and I've got fully comprehensive cover on both my Bandit and my Harley. All modifications declared. 10 years no claims bonus, and I'm paying £213 for the whole year for the 2 bikes.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Just to jump onto the few comments then. So I had this one up a while because I'm about to click off it. That is a fantastic list. Yeah, the Rocket 3R had Chewy. I've told you before, man, just go for it. Life is too short. Buy that thing, especially so I can fly over and have a go on it.
I'm a firm believer in living your obituary, right? You don't.
That's it.
You have a lovely house. Who the hell cares?
Yeah,
exactly.
It's not what you're going to remember, is it?
Yeah, I mean, my wife wanted the house decorated like top to bottom, and then when she started getting into motorcycles, all of a sudden she's coming around to my way of thinking, and she's like, you know what? I think the kitchen can wait for a bit while I get my license, and I think it can wait a bit longer while I get my bike. And now I want a different bike because this one doesn't suit me, so I can wait a bit longer. You know, like now she's coming around to my way of thinking. But
even that's it. Like, because I mean, the thing I've always done is, you know, like, you're at work a lot of the time, and then when I come home, I'm either riding my bikes or working on them, and then at the weekends, especially now since Toaster actually likes it, it's like, oh, let's go there. How often do you actually spend it? Obviously, it's different for you because you've Mad and you know, bro, you're married, so it's different for you as well. But for me, and
it's an investment.
Yeah.
They can embrace it, and certainly we have kids too. But if you can find someone that embraces that, I mean, that's the best date, right? No matter what size bike you have, you fill up the tank of gas. I mean, here in America, it's what, $12 to fill up. You know, you go out. I don't care if we eat hot dogs in some cheap, you know, store. You're making memories. You know, you don't sit. You're not going to look at life later on and be like, "Oh, that was great when we painted that room." Or
exactly that. Like when me and Soph and Mad go out now on the bikes, we could fill 2 tanks of fuel, grab something cheap to eat, and that's cheaper than going to the zoo or going to the, you know. And we get a
even
day
the cinema probably now.
Yeah, definitely, exactly. And we're making memories, seeing new places. Mad's like, you know, getting experiences that she would never have had without the motorcycle. And I think that's why she like another. Not only does she love motorcycles, but I think she loves the experiences that is bringing for us as well.
And that's what I'm always telling people. You know, it's like a lot of my friends be like, I don't like bikes, they're too dangerous. And I mean, a lot of my friends, Ireland is not really a bike country. I know you're slightly better than us in the UK, but even still, I think there's a lot of, you know, not anti-bike, but just kind of neutral bike people.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are like that. But then it's funny because every single person, and I've gotten 2 of them obviously to be on the channel, which was Big J and Toaster, but they both were like, oh no, I understand now. Like, even Big J only just brought him out to one of my favorite places to take photos of the bikes, and he was like, I literally got off the bike and he went, "Oh, no, I get it." And I was like, "See, you know, it's completely different to traveling somewhere in a car. You're kind of enjoying the whole way there. You enjoy when you get there, and then you enjoy the way home. Whereas in a car, you're in a car to go to a place, you enjoy the place, and you're back in a car to go back.
Oh,
you know,
I think it sounds weird. Sorry, mate.
No, you're right. I wasn't going to say that.
It sounds weird, but owning a motorcycle is a little bit like being a parent. You can't put it into words. And skydiving, I did a skydive. Those three things, they're things that you can't describe to someone. They need to do it for themselves to even get it. You know, there's no explaining how good a motorcycle is, how good having a motorcycle is. I try and tell people. Some of them listen. I think I managed to, when I passed my test, I was the only person in my circle of friends that rode a motorcycle. Now I've got about 4 or 5 of my close circle of friends on motorcycles. So I've almost got the full set. I've got 2 left to work on.
I was in the same situation you were with Toaster. My wife, I think, was on a bike once as a kid. When we went out, she's like, "I totally get this." She's hooked, and there's nothing more exciting than taking somebody out that's a little on the fence. And then I've had a few friends that I've taken out and they're just like, "This is unbelievable." You know, it's the smell, it's feeling the air change. And it's just,
even the noise, everything.
The only way I can explain it, especially with a long ride, it's like, you feel like you're almost drunk. You're so relaxed.
Yeah.
It's almost like a high because you can't think about anything else, or you are, but you're just living in the moment.
Yeah, and it does sound really cliche, doesn't it? But when you're riding, you're not thinking about anything else, and it is like
100% true.
Like it sounds really cliche. It's what you hear on the advertisements, but it's true.
It's on Triumph advertisements. We know you're still there. It's like, yeah, those Triumph advertisements are bloody awful most of the time. They're like, "Live free." It's like, okay, just chill out, man. It's a nice bike. Where's the? Here's one here. I'm good. Yeah, exactly. So you probably heard all of that. So yeah, check out insurance quotes. Get a few registrations off mates, or if you can, or even just off Done Deal. Ask people for registrations and get that quote with them. But yeah, absolutely, and that's what my buddy did with the SV650, and that's how he found out that was the cheapest, and that is the way to go. You know, pick something that you like. Definitely, you have to like your bike. But if you're between 4, go for the cheapest one to insure, because if it's costing you less, you enjoy it more, and that's kind of been my view with bikes my whole life.
Mishki's. So what's the IBT over there? Remind me, is that your full license or is that
same as the CBT? Same as CBT. Okay. So you have to do it to get on a bike legally on the road.
Because Mishki asked, "Am I able to get a lesson before I decide whether or not I want to do an IBT?" Now, I don't know how it is over there, and it might be because I know the people. I've been going there for 10 years because the training body that I train with also do garage work. So they also work on my bikes if it's something I don't want to do or I haven't got time to do, or I'm not, whatever. So I took Soph down there when Soph was thinking about learning to ride, and I just said, "Can you just give her a taster? Can you just get her on the bike and just give her a little 10 minutes and see if it's for her before I book her into a CBT?" And they did it because they don't want to waste their time either. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I'm sure if Mishki went to the local training body and said, "Can I have, can you spare 20 minutes, or 15 minutes to give me a little taster before I commit to do my IBT?" I'm sure they would oblige.
Do any of your Harley dealers have the Jumpstart program?
No, not properly. They have some. Sorry.
You know what I'm talking about? Where it's the bike, it's pretty much on a dyno where you can try. That sold my wife.
Yeah,
I mean, she doesn't ride, but she got on it. She's like, "Man, this is great." They hook.
Oh, is that what they have at the shows and stuff, where it's on like a rolling road and they just let you? Yeah, they have it sometimes at they had it at the motorcycle show last year, didn't they? Yeah.
Yep, and the live wires are on it, aren't they?
That's what they're doing now in the dealership. They have the live wire. You can sit, you can try it. It gives you a little bit of a taste, which is it's kind of cool.
Yeah,
but from they don't have them here, unfortunately. But they do have a thing. If you buy a new Harley, they'll actually pay for your IBT. But obviously, you're buying a brand new Harley, which is expensive. But Mishki, yes, definitely. I know for a fact if you go down, you can get a lesson on the yard, provided you have your theory, your learner's permit. You have to have your learner's permit, and then they'll bring you even around the yard on the bike. So absolutely, go down and get a lesson. It's 100%.
There's also a website. I don't know if they still do it, and I don't know if it's just like over here or whether it's in Ireland as well. But there used to be a website called geton.co.uk, and you could go onto this website, geton.co.uk. You could put in your details. It gives you a list of all your local training bodies, and some of them were offering like a free taster session. So it's exactly what we just said, but more formal, where you went on the website, and the whole purpose of this website was to get more people on two wheels.
All right. No, I don't think we've anything like that here, but that sounds really good.
I'm going to have a quick look and see if it's still going.
Bandit Man, what did you start out on? I actually don't know. I wasn't watching you 8 years ago.
I'm assuming he started on a Bandit.
Probably.
Probably. Something about his channel name and that. I think he was saying basically that he had a Bandit and that's why he started off with Bandit Man UK, because that profile pic is not a Bandit, right?
It's an MT10.
Yeah, there you go. I knew it was something like
that. Just get it. Just get old and don't crash, and insurance gets cheap. Rule number one about motorcycles: don't crash. Simple. Everything else is secondary. That's true. This is very true. Unfortunately, even road tax and everything else is cheaper in the UK as well. So that is a fair point. My wife rides a street triple. My oldest had full bike license. Yeah, you're to be honest, Bandit Man, I'm very jealous of that. You're very lucky that the entire family is in there.
I love it. Love that. What was that, bro? Sorry, mate.
It's more expensive. You have to have multiple bikes.
Yeah, and the missus now knows how much everything costs, so I can't even convert it into what wife currency.
Yeah. But sure, that's the thing. Toaster was looking at that SV1000S, and she was like, "But you said you go on a holiday this time." I was like, "Yeah, but now the world is closed down. Can't go on a holiday. I can buy the bike."
There you go.
And I'd probably get a deal on it. What else do we have here? Going to hit the hours. Have a good stream. Thanks, Donovan. If you're not already gone. Spiky. Oh, welcome, Spiky. I have the conversation with so many people where they say it's so dangerous, but it's not really. It's only the crazy people put out you make dangerous. I mean, look, it's a fact that riding motorcycles is inherently more risky. You can't fall off a car. It is more risky, but at the same time, it's risk and reward. I think it's absolutely 3,000% worth the risk. So yeah, that's what I always tell people: is just give it a go and you'll love it. Hello, Road Rash HD. How are you? He also shouted at you out, Dad Mad. There you go, Road Rash HD. Welcome. Mishki, yeah, the 500 quid on the IBT, man. Just go get a lesson. It's you're absolutely able to. That's when he just chilling, brother, enjoying the stream. Whoa, I think that's.
Yeah, J-Mac popped out and then came back. So welcome back, dude.
Absolutely. That's right. You GB buy the bike and use it, go on holiday when the world returns to normal. I don't know, would Beth feel happy sitting on the back of an SV1000, but sure, we'll try it. They're don't know, are they built for two people really? That back seat looks lean.
Time to get that adventure bike at $1,250. Get a BMW adventure bike. You could both, you could ride two up on that.
Oh, I can't buy a BMW. I just can't. I've spent too many years slagging them. My uncle has exclusively ridden BMWs for a while now. He's how I got that XR to test ride. It's his bike, and he's convinced he'll convert me eventually. So I don't know. I just don't know. Can I do it to myself? I know I'd enjoy it. Obviously, I like all bikes, but if I came home with the GS or something, I just.
Uh-oh.
It's frozen again. Twice in one stream's not bad though.
I don't know how it is there.
I've never heard the end of
lockdown. Horrible.
Oh, he's back. There you go.
I'm back. Yeah, I think it was just a blip on the internet.
Sorry.
Captain Granite, would you like to join us? There's the stream link. Captain Granite is usually a good man to jump on to these things. So yeah, you see, the thing is, right, as it stands, if I was to buy the SV1000S, that is technically 4 bikes. Like I said, there is a technicality attached to the third one, but I won't reveal anything till I actually can get out there and talk about it. I want to be standing beside that thing. It deserves it. But call it like part of ownership, say. So it won't live in my shed. But I'm doing the restoration on it anyway. And obviously then there's the Magna, which I'll never get rid of, and the Phaser, which I would get rid of, but I don't know, is it a good swap for an SV1000, because the SV1000 would be not as practical as the Phaser is.
That is true. That is true.
RH Automotive, try the XR1000 and it might change your mind. That's what I've ridden. I've ridden one. I have a review up on it. The S1000. Is that the S1000 XR you're talking about? Oh, by the way, everyone, RH Automotive also has a YouTube channel. Go check them out. Makes good videos. But yeah, the S1000 XR was, I said it in the title of my video, and I still believe it. It is the best bike I have ever ridden. Is it my favorite bike I've ever ridden? No, but it is technically the best bike I've ever ridden. That thing was bloody incredible.
Look, Hachiri mentioned the S1000R, the S1000R. If I had a sports bike, if I had to put one of them in that top, if I had to expand it from a top 3 to a top 5, I think I would whack the BMW S1000R in there as my sports bike option.
Yeah, that'd be a hard sell, I'd say.
And then I would throw a mutt in there as number 5, just as I'd go for the 250 for now until they manufacture a 400 or a 450. I'd go for the 250 mutt.
To be honest, I think I've actually sat. Franklin had one in. They had one of the 125s in. I can't remember which style it was, but they had one of the 125s in. I just rode it around the yard before I went home. That was the day I test rode a couple of bikes actually, and I think it just suit like the 250 in there would be perfect. The seat and style, everything. It's just I absolutely love those bikes.
I'm on there. I'm on the Facebook owners group. I don't even own one, but I just like to see what people do with them. And one of my most popular videos is when me and Mad went to their headquarters, and Mad does a walk around of all the bikes in the headquarters. I don't know if it's because we check out graffiti and motorcycles, so I don't know if it's a combination of the two, or whether there's just not loads out there about mutts on the. I mean, there's a few bits out on YouTube, but not many people go to the headquarters. It's like on the owners group, that's like the mecca for mutt enthusiasts. That is. So I think maybe, I don't know. That's why it was one of my most popular. It's not gone viral. Don't get me wrong, but for me.
But sure, like I mean, back when I started off, I remember I got at the time kind of 80 views is my average. And I remember I got one with 120, and that was me made up. I was so happy about that for weeks. So I completely understand. And even now, like for me, and a successful video for me is literally it's not about the views. It's if I get a good conversation started in the comments. I'm actually not worried. I never have been. I never will be worried about the views. Yeah. Because it's not like it's ever going to be a full-time job for, I don't think, any of us, probably, with the way YouTube has gone, especially. So it's just a hobby, pure and simple. Yeah. Try a Varadero 1000. I have ridden one. I do like them. I just don't think they're very good looking. So that's kind of my issue with them. They're not very good looking. But yeah, they're a great bike, fantastic engine. And would I buy one if I really wanted to go that way? Yeah, I'd consider Varadero 1000. Again, it depends on what else was there. 125s, have you rode a mutt? Martin Taylor, yeah, we were just talking about that. I have ridden I rode a 125 around the yard and absolutely loved it. I would happily buy one. Nobody had a Norton as a dream bike. My wife did, but it didn't go well. Oh, Bandit Man, I'm so sorry. We actually talked about Norton in the podcast I did with Moto Dragon and what would Grant do. I really hope a company with good morals buys that and just sorts everyone out who's owed stuff out of that company. Because number one, I hope the name gets kept alive. I hope it doesn't die in that infamy, because I don't believe the brand deserves it. But I really hope someone decent buys it and sort of makes it right for everyone, because what went on there is absolutely, the only word for it's disgusting. And even when I see those bikes stripped for parts that were back in for paint fixes and stuff, it's just bloody awful. Do you know what I mean? What's up, Dirty D's? Welcome.
He's the CEO of Harley now, isn't he?
Self-elected. Impressive. I should have went for it myself.
I mean, if I know, they're only right down the road. Not that quite down the road, but we're not that far from York.
All right, so folks, so I don't know about you. I am quite happy to leave it there, unless anyone has anything else they want to talk about.
I was going to say the same.
No, yeah, I've had a blast. Thanks for having me on.
No, absolutely. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. Bri, thanks very much for joining. And if you're only here recently, huge thank you to Paddy Outback as well. Myself and himself have been talking about doing these kind of back and forth for the last while. So we did do another one in his channel. If you haven't seen that, check it out. And don't forget to check out Bri and Dad Mad. They both have excellent channels on YouTube as well. And there's an absolute wealth of really good small channels in the comment section, so make sure to check them all out. I'm not going to start going through them because I'll miss people, and but go back through the comments, go back through that. There's absolutely loads of people there. So especially at the moment, I imagine we're all fairly bored and stuck inside, so plenty of content to go through, plenty of stuff to watch.
Way to stay sane, that's for sure. absolutely. So to finish off, I will hopefully try to do these again. Guys, you're more than welcome back again. Great having you on. I'd love to have you on again. And I will, as soon as I can, I'll sort out the giveaway information to win a hat or a picture or t-shirt or something like that. Unfortunately everyone else probably thinks fortunately, but I wear this thing the whole time. These orange ones are out of stock because apparently they never sold any orange long sleeve shirt. Who knew? I bought one. But they no longer make the orange ones, so unfortunately. But Mr. Alpacas, no, you can watch it back. It won't be live, but you got here late, but you can watch it back. But look, I'll leave it there. Thanks very much for watching, everyone who tuned in. Again, one last massive thanks to you guys for coming on. Obviously, these don't work if people don't join. I will see you next time. Great. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Adios. Thanks, nice talking to you. Cheers, guys.
Thanks.
Cheers, mate.
See you later, man.